Hey there, welcome to the Distraction Hole. This is David. We have a very spoilerific discussion on Deadpool and Wolverine. If you want to miss out on the spoilers, go ahead and jump to about an hour into the show. Otherwise, enjoy.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Supernatural Selection. Are you an independent creator? Do you have a webcomic or an Etsy store? Do you 3D print things? Or are you just looking to get some word out for your Discordian cabal with social terrorism? Well, we'd love to help. And David, I believe you've got some details about how we can help.
Why, certainly. If you go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, that is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, you can learn how to advertise with us.
That's right. I believe the rate is $2 per episode. You can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, we've tried.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's literally cheaper than dirt.
And best of all, if you're not sure how to write an ad, we'll do it for you. We'll even record it.
Absolutely. Just let us know what you need in the ad, and we'll be happy to do that for you.
And again, that URL is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact.
And now, back to the show. All right. Does anyone actually remember how to do this?
I'm going to fumble through it. How about you?
Don't we just start screeching like monkeys and throwing things around until, an hour's passed and we just quit?
Yeah, I feel like we should just start every show with atonal screaming.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's already been copywritten by Behind the Bastards.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. That's why I said that. I've been listening. I've just finished the 6-part Kissinger series on... Holy shit, that man should have been murdered.
The only other person the only other person I remember who got a 6-part series was McMahon from WWE. Yes.
Oh, but that was a great series.
Oh yes, absolutely. Oh, and who is this tumbling down into our hole of filth and fun? Oh, it is you, the listener. Welcome to the Distraction Hole.
We're just pulling them down to our level, apparently.
Get over here.
We're just fucking trolls pulling people into a dank, smelly hole.
We live under a bridge. We're just pulling
that is the vibe.
Like
that is the vibe
tank.
I want for this show, and I'm glad we're pursuing it.
We are the trolls pulling the billy goats under the bridge into the distraction hole.
And yes, welcome to the Distraction Hole, dear listener. We'll let you go in a little bit. I am your host.
Do I at least get a flowing white dress and kind of live in a well and crawl out of TVs?
I thought you were going for a Truth coming out of her well, but Truth was nude.
No.
I thought you were going for some kind of weird-ass sexy troll.
Well,
No, we're doing. Are we ring ghosts or are we trolls? We need to figure that out.
Oh, I'm a troll.
Well, I'm not a troll.
I kind of want to be a ring. Well, we can each be one different thing that lives in a hole, and that'll be for the T-shirt inevitably. Anyway, Hi, I am your host this week, David. It's been a while. Welcome. Again, we'll let you go once we're done talking at you. With me this week are my wonderful co-hosts, who are also the hosts periodically. Actually, it's like every other time. So, okay, first off, we have Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing, my friend?
I have a headache, I have insomnia, and I'm stuffed to the gills for the writing of Chris Claremont. So pretty good.
So yeah, you're ready to record.
I am ready to fucking rock, man.
Alrighty, and we have with us my parents' favorite, Mike.
Your handling of this is it's making me scared for my position here.
No, you're good. No, because my mom inevitably calls and she's like, no, we love you too, but we find Mike very funny.
No, I mean, you seem woefully underprepared, and that's my shtick.
Oh,
I am wonderfully prepared. I have a topic. I have a game. I'm just being loose with it, man. I'm being loose.
That's what I am. I usually, I just don't have a script to read from.
Yeah, I don't read from a script here. Which of us can be looser? That's the question.
You don't want me to get loose. I tend to fart a lot.
But how are you, Mike?
Look, I've been watching so much goddamn anime. I probably should see things in anime now.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised you're not speaking Japanese right now.
Look, I've been watching subtitled anime for goddamn like almost 20 years. If I haven't just Osmified Japanese by now, it's never going to happen.
You probably know a lot more Japanese than you think.
I mean, I've gleaned several words, but not with, and I don't have any. I don't know them with the confidence enough to use them in any capacity.
Yeah. But no, I feel you. Like, I have a few, phrases that I know, and I'll trot out here and there just because they're funny. But,
I mean, there, sometimes I can, hear a character say something. I don't really have to read what they said because, because it was just a very short and one of those phrases that they say a lot,
Nani?
like, nani or yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes I will just I'll bust out a nani instead of a what.
Or nani
because
the fuck.
Yeah.
Nani
Because,
the fuck.
in the circles that I run in, everybody knows that.
Ikitakimasu.
So, how many weeks has it been? Like 2, 3?
Something like that.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been
It's been
1
a
week
while.
since you left me.
It's been.
Yeah.
It's been. I figure, like, there's going to be a major focus that all three of us are going to want to discuss. So I figure we'll do, like, kind of an open discussion of one topic, and then we'll move into our individual things.
Sure.
And that big red and yellow flashing light indicates Deadpool and
Scurvy.
Wolverine.
Yeah, movie sucked. It didn't have the Deadpool rap.
Well, okay, all right. So let's. So all three of us have seen it.
Yes.
Now, how many times? I've seen it
Once.
thrice.
I saw it once. Because money and, like,
Time.
people out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we saw it Monday, so
yeah.
that was our, last day before, the work week.
Yeah.
And
That's our Sunday.
today is our Saturday, so we really didn't have much chance because, we get off of work late. And Kevin's not going to stay up late to watch a really, really late movie.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So I guess the first question is, like, did we like it?
Oh, God, yes. I fucking
I
adored that movie.
It was all right, I guess.
Yeah,
it was great.
I had a ton of fun with it. I think it's the weakest of the three.
I think you're wrong.
No, I would say...
Because I felt I have no real strong feelings about the second one, and I came out of this one feeling good.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I would say it's about maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think of. So I definitely think it's better than 2. I'm trying to think about how I think of it in relation with 1.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's hard to say because I haven't watched 1 in a while.
Yeah,
I think 1, like, because the other thing I'm thinking out, just beyond, like, the Marvel wish fulfillment kind of element of it, like, is it a good movie with a strong narrative?
I thought it
And
was.
I had fun with it, but I think there were a lot of issues with it, but I'm willing to overlook those because Hugh Jackman in a mask. So
Okay.
By the way, there will be spoilers in this.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so you might want to skip to
in fact, I would say
later.
I would right off the bat say I was able to not be spoiled at all before watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was highly pleased with all the stuff. So if you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, do not listen any further.
Skip ahead about 30 minutes.
If you're going to see this movie at all within the next year, you should definitely just skip to the next subject.
Because I am the one who edits these shows, I will probably end up putting in some sort of like, hey, we're spoilers. You can skip to such and such time.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, because this is definitely a movie you should go in not being spoiled on all the little things.
Now,
yeah,
you brought up the mask. Mm-hmm. I need to talk about the mask.
You mean the blowjob handles?
Yes. We need to talk about the blowjob handles. So, He pulled the mask up and put it on, and my reaction was the same as Daredevil's, which was, holy shit! You know, I just leaned forward excited. And then, as the action sequence started, I suddenly realized, oh, this is why they didn't do it. It looks kind of dumb.
I didn't think it
There's
looked
certain
dumb.
angles where it looked kind of goofy, but like...
It's
then again,
goofy in the premise that he's got a mask on and running around.
well, yeah, and just in general, superhero costumes are goofy. Like, I can't think of a single superhero costume that isn't goofy looking.
Yeah, no, I give him a lot of credit for finally leaning in.
Doubly so when you transition that to live action.
Oh, yes.
But you know, for what it's worth, like, I think that is, like, visually, yeah, if only he were shorter, but, like, visually, that's,
They
like, how
handled
I
that.
picture, like, yeah. But, like, if you were to tell me, like, this is what a live-action Wolverine looks like, I'd be like, nope, yep, that is exactly what I would have pictured. Yeah. Like, with the mask and then the yellow outfit. Yeah, just the sleeveless look, it looks good on him, and,
So-
just fantastic.
Speaking of the sleeveless thing, did I miss something, like, where the sleeves disappeared? Because they just kind of disappeared. Maybe it was a cut scene or something.
I think it was like, I think they disappeared like during the fight with Deadpool
In the car?
in the car.
Yeah.
I thought
Like
he
it's
had.
implied that they got cut
I
off.
thought he had the sleeves when they were talking to, all the new arrivals in the.
No, I think he
thing.
was missing the
No,
sleeves then.
yeah,
the
because
first time I noticed-
he was sleeveless when he was drinking around the fire.
Okay.
And
Well, no,
X-23
I know
comes
that's
up.
the first time I noticed the sleeves were gone around the fire. I'm saying inside the house when, well, I guess we're
When all
spoiling
them
things.
spoilers
When all the
walked in.
spoilers walked in, I don't remember him being
Now,
sleeveless, but
we
it
had
could have
just
been.
warned people there were going to be spoilers, so you don't have to say when all the spoilers
Well,
walked
I
in.
want to save it for when we actually talk
Talk
about
about
that scene. But yeah, he didn't have the sleeves when he was
Okay, I mean,
stealing
yes.
their Jim Beam.
I guess it makes sense. Just it was so dark, I just didn't notice
Yeah.
until the
Yeah,
fire,
I think
campfire.
it was during the fight in the Honda Odyssey that fucks hard.
Yeah, that was the best fight in the movie, honestly.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
having
fantastic fight.
Having ridden in Honda Odysseys, I kind of want a Honda Odyssey.
Well, I'm glad that product placement worked on you, Mike.
Well, no, I mean even before that, I kind of wanted a minivan.
I don't know.
And
So,
a Honda
like,
Odyssey
rather,
was high.
I think we kind of need to structure this conversation
Yeah.
just a
Well,
little
Let's
bit.
kind of
Because
start toward the beginning of the
Well,
movie.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We just,
Okay,
kind of
alright.
pace the flow of
Yeah.
the movie, which we've skipped around a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah. So, I was not a fan of the scene with Happy Hogan.
I honestly, I was a little confused by it, but when I saw he had like the time jumper, I was like, oh, I get it. I mean, I don't think we need it, but I get it.
But the problem, though, is that he had a time jumper, but that was a parallel dimension.
I know, and
Yeah.
that's the other thing that did bother me. That's like the one thing
Well,
I was like,
this
it is
whole-
Deadpool.
This whole
It-
movie
it's a
played
very
fast.
it's a very Itchy Scratchy and Poochie show moment where the three guys are sitting and asking about playing xylophone on the ribs, and it makes the same sound twice. And I hope someone got fired for that blunder. We kind of have that vibe, but yeah, like, I'm with you on that. That, like, that was... There's moments in the movie like that where it's like the expedience of just trying to get certain things going, and it sacrifices logic.
Can we all agree, though, that the opening scene where he literally desecrates Wolverine's skeleton to fight the TVA was the best way to handle...
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because that's the only way he's going to tackle the seriousness of Logan,
Yeah.
is defiling a corpse.
Absolutely. Great scene.
But
Mike?
the whole premise is kind of in question because it's like, okay, so Deadpool's universe is disappearing because Logan's dead. But does that mean this movie is set after the events of Logan?
Or did
'Cause
that
wasn't
happen
that-
in the future and it's retroactive?
Yeah,
I mean-
because Logan was set, what, in 2029?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like,
It was set in the future because they had like self-driving like big rigs and stuff.
yeah.
But this
Was modern day.
yeah, so he's like trying to find that Logan. Like, yeah,
Well,
it's just it plays super fast and loose with any kind of chronology.
Well, they're retroactively trying to tie all these movies together when, like, it doesn't make sense to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, also, I think the reason I try not to let it bother me is because even in Deadpool 1, when Colossus City is going to take him to the professor, he was like, which one, McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines have me screwed up.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's there. There's no for Deadpool. There's only really 2 X-Men, and the rest are like Schrodinger's mutants.
I guess a way to look at it is Deadpool's frame of reference is the audience's frame of reference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's basically living in our moment, but in that universe.
Well,
Right.
and like getting to that Happy Hogan scene, like my issue isn't with like the continuity and stuff like that. It set up an arc that I don't think was very satisfying for Deadpool. I think that like Deadpool and Wolverine did not have very compelling arcs in the film. Like the only person who had a really compelling arc was God, what's her name?
Cassandra Nova?
Yeah, Cassandra Nova. I think she had like a compelling arc, and then they threw that away for that big climax.
Okay, here's my thing about I actually didn't mind Deadpool's arc because it was like I've lived my life being an idiot and I'm looking for some kind of actual purpose, and I've been denied that, and I'm okay with that storyline.
Well, if they would have delivered on something, it would work. But also, like, that was handled at the end of Deadpool 2. Like, his what he was looking for in this movie, he had achieved at the end of Deadpool 2.
And it's implied he fucked it up.
Yeah, it just... Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with, like, when you have a happy ending on something like that but inevitably the next time you have to fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
Have any kind of, story. Otherwise, if he had...
And that's a problem with modern stories in general, is you have to always walk back character development.
I mean, they really could have just, figured out a way to have Deadpool, like... So TVA wanted Deadpool. Instead of having the, I guess they wanted to have the Happy Hogan moment. They could have figured out a way to...
because they just wanted Jon Favreau
movie.
They could have put that somewhere else.
That moment was probably written for Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Like, but if they would have, if Kevin Feige would have been willing to, like, be in that scene and have Deadpool literally talking to Kevin Feige, that's what they would have done.
I think they could have put that somewhere else too, but no, they could have, like, just had, the TVA grab him, and he finds out the universe is ending, and he is doing it for his friends, not half the whole fucking up with
that's fair, but
what's
it
her
still
face?
Didn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm just saying that did feel a little like... Feels bad whenever he's fucking up everything so bad every time that,
I do think you're wrong about Wolverine's arc, because I was actually I got choked up over his arc in the movie. It, like, actually got to me. I really enjoyed his character arc.
I mean, it was predictable, but it was, I think it was a pretty decent arc,
It's where you would expect the worst Wolverine's life to be, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't really get a set. It feels less like the movie felt less like a narrative to me, and more like a collection of cool scenes.
You just described a Monty Python movie.
I mean, that's kind of what it was, but let's face it, it's definitely a narrative vehicle second.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. All right, so it does that, and then we finally get back to the whole Logan fight, and he goes on his journey to find a new Logan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the very first one was comics accurate Logan.
Well,
in that
he's actually shorter than he was in the comics.
Logan's like 5'3".
Yeah, but in this apparently he was 4'7".
Yeah, but it was funny as hell nonetheless.
Yes.
Yeah. And
like I love like the whole montage of just finding different Logans, and then when they showed the Calvalrine, I thought of you, Kevin.
Yeah, I thought of me too. I was like, but honestly, my favorite was the John Byrne suit.
Yes, absolutely. Like when I saw the brown and yellow. Yeah, I'm like, no, this is
squeed, and then he popped the claws.
That's my favorite Logan look, or Wolverine look.
Yeah, but he popped the claws, and the Hulk's reflection was in the claws. I was like, oh my god, they did the thing. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole reason they did it, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I think my favorite was when they showed the that cover, the Wolverine on the X.
Yeah, the crucifixion in the Outback.
Yeah, Mike was asking me about that. I was like, I don't think that's actually him in the story. I think that's just Deadpool in the continuity of that one cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate, like, all of the references, and, like, all of the references. Like, even, like, little background, like, you see the original Captain America shield.
Yes.
You see the Fantasticar a few times. You see
the fucking...
see a whole...
Sorry,
go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, you see a whole cluster of the wheel ships from Infinity War. Mm-hmm. Like, in the background. Like, just a row of them. It was just, like, all these great little references, for sure.
Now, my thing about the Fantasticar is, it wasn't just the Fantasticar. It was the fucking bathtub. That gave me so much joy, I can't explain it.
All right, so he's hopping around trying to find Wolverines, and of course he inevitably finds the only one he could actually get to help him, the worst Wolverine.
The drunk worst one, yeah.
And yeah, this guy is a mess.
And can I also just say that dude from Succession was great. I loved his character. What was his character's name?
Paradox.
Love that character.
I felt he was underutilized.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was kind of one of those things. They had a villain and then a worse villain. So,
but the worst villain that didn't need to return to villainy.
They could have left her out at the end.
Yeah, it could have literally been Paradox just activating the machine at the end.
Maybe, but then they wanted the Legion. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get
there. We're skipping around here.
The thing is, it's not necessarily. I never got the impression. Well, okay, yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get to that part.
It's a mess.
So he recruits the worst Wolverine. He abducts the worst Wolverine. I don't think he actually recruits him till like 3/4 of the way through the film.
And then they both get dumped in the shithole from
the Void.
Loki.
Yeah. So the TVA comes, gets them, and dumps them into the dumping ground of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. The Fox logo being
you
there.
See the 20th Century Fox. But this is where we get the most
Guys, before we get to that,
what?
We have to go back to when they offer him a place in the sacred timeline, and he runs up to the camera, grabs the boom mic, and tells Fox to suck his dick. He's going to Disney World, and headbutts the camera. And then when it cuts back, there's nothing there. It's just him.
Yeah. Well, that's him in his own little world.
No, that was essence of Deadpool.
No, that's an incredible moment, and I'm glad they went with it. Also, the costumer being a predator.
Yeah. Oh God, that was weird. That was very uncomfortable.
I was like, hey, he slapped his butt. Hey, that's his dick.
Grabbed his junk. Oh, he did it again and again. It's just this montage of junk grabbing and butt slapping.
Yeah.
For like
your
20 seconds.
Your look says middle management, but your lips say fucky. Just
oh, man.
Like, there's a lot of great little one-liners in there. Like, they throw a ton in there.
Yeah. Oh, that's Deadpool. That's the mark with the mouth.
Yeah.
You don't have the mouth, then it's not really Deadpool. It's just
it's
Deathstroke.
No, without the mouth, it's just X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Exactly.
Did you hear me, Kevin?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. You just didn't acknowledge it, so.
Yeah, acknowledge all of them. So yeah, we're in the void. Then there is the whole Mad Max of it all.
Well,
That was great.
First, we start off with a very familiar voice shouting down to them.
Oh, also, Wolverine running on all fours in that
Yes.
fight was
Oh yeah,
fucking,
they
I
fight,
was
of
like,
course.
Yes.
I think every free moment, if they don't figure out what to do in the story, they're like, oh, we'll just have Deadpool and Wolverine fight for a little while.
But
Hey, it
makes
worked.
sense
It
for
worked,
those
man.
two.
It worked
Yeah.
for me.
So I think there's like 4 Deadpool and Wolverine fights in the movie.
There's a lot. Yeah.
So, and is this familiar voice is Chris Evans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he jumps down, and I wasn't gleaning on it the same way Deadpool wasn't gleaning on it. So we both thought it was Captain America
Yeah, I
until
thought
he
it was
says
like-
"Flame on."
Yeah, because they made it look like Captain America's Nomad.
Yeah, he like had rags and stuff over his costume,
And
so you
his
couldn't really
gloves
see.
were red.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's the thing about that scene. When he jumped down, and it was Chris Evans, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, me and Gage were talking about possible cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine whenever they announced it. I said, man, they have got to get... It would be fucking hilarious if they got Chris Evans in this thing, but Chris Evans as the Human Torch. And Gage was like, oh, that'd be funny, but it's never going to happen. So when it happened, I was
You're like,
"I-
suck it.
Suck it, bitches! I got it!"
Which, by the way, kudos to Chris Evans for playing an even more obnoxious Johnny than he was in
Oh,
the
God,
Fantastic
yes.
Four movies.
Yeah, no, I loved his Johnny Storm because I hated his Johnny Storm.
And then, of course, we get the Mad Max caravan featuring cameo vehicles. There was the Cupcake Wagon from Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
There was the Red Skull's rod, but it was painted. We had the Fantastic Car, and it was the bathtub, obviously,
Yep.
which was fantastic.
Literally.
Just, yeah. But then, of course, as far as some of the characters who were showing up,
Fucking Toad.
fucking Toad and Sabretooth.
Yeah, oh, man. I was so
Tyler
glad they
Mane Sabretooth.
Yes. I was so glad they finally got a fight, even though it lasted all of, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like...
I do appreciate that Deadpool takes the time to pull the blades out of Wolverine, and every time Deadpool busts out the little knife, he always says "baby knife."
Yep.
Yes.
Every time, baby knife.
Every time
Yep.
when he uses it or
Pulls it out,
pulls
whatever.
it out, yeah. Baby knife.
And then so the characters are then taken to Cassandra Nova's empire in the desert, but there's this fun conversation with Johnny Storm while they're in prison. They get that backstory, that exposition, which pays off in the end credits.
Oh, doesn't it, though?
Wonderfully so. But then, of course, they arrive at the giant corpse of Ant-Man.
Which is
Yeah.
a major Old Man Logan reference.
Oh, yeah, because they even had fucking Old Man Logan in the...
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
They did. But, yeah, in Old Man Logan, they go to they pass by Pym Canyon. It's just where Giant Man's skeleton had fallen when he was defeated. And this was a straight-up reference to that.
Yeah. And then while we're in Cassandra's little kingdom area, a lot of references, some more deep cuts than others. We had Lady Deathstrike.
Oh, yeah.
We had Azazel. We had the X-Men. We had the original Juggernaut. From
I call him Shitty Juggernaut.
Yeah, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
I was gonna say Juggernaut, bitch.
We also had the Blob.
Yes.
And then we
Yeah,
also
I
had
didn't
the
twig on
Russian.
that. I just saw him as a fat dude, but
It was Blob.
it was
in
definitely
X-Men
Blob.
Origins.
okay.
Yeah, and
I
then
never
we
saw
also
it, so.
we also had the Russian from I'm forgetting which Punisher movie it was.
Oh, yeah, I thought he looked
Oh.
familiar. Yeah, the striped shirt guy.
Yeah, the sailor looking dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I already mention Azazel?
Yes.
Yes.
Which,
Okay,
that
yeah.
was nice to see, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, we get Cassandra. Oh, and of course, my favorite character in the movie was Pyro, because I've
Yes.
always been a fan of Aaron Stanton.
I like him.
Yeah, he. If you ever get a chance, watch 12 Monkeys because he's great in that show.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just so happy to see Pyro back, because Pyro is like one of those, like, he was a great part in X-Men 2.
He was a shockingly good standout character.
Yeah. And I like that, they took kind of like, who was kind of like a little guy, and they gave him a lot to do. Which I just really appreciate.
Now, I have a question about when Cassandra Nova walked out in that coat. Did anyone else go, Dolores?
No.
I kind of thought that a little bit after I had thought about it for a little bit, because I'm like, no, that reminds me of Dolores.
Yeah, no, I was just in my head. I was doing the Leonardo DiCaprio point thing.
Okay, I'm gonna throw something out there. Her like finger fucking people's brains.
Oh god, best
horrifying.
effect in the fucking whole thing. It was horrifying.
Kind of hot.
Especially. So it's on.
No,
Deadpool.
I get it. It's not hot, but I can see how it would be considered hot if you're a freak.
Yeah, well, I'm a freak, but also, like, if you notice her fingernails, she has very distorted fingernails. They go down to her knuckle. It's interesting.
I did not notice.
If you watch again, look at her fingers carefully, because you'll notice that her fingernails are like super long, like, and not long extending over the tip of the finger,
go back.
but long extending back.
Yeah.
So
it's very, very great detail.
I need to say something about Cassandra Nova before we go on, and that's that I know her origin, because when I found out she was going to be the supervillain, I looked it up, and honestly, that's the stupidest fucking origin I've ever heard. And,
that's comics.
Yeah, I was like, let's not linger on that origin.
I think they did enough to, like, set it up, and, like, and that's partially why her, like, little story arc worked until they derailed it. Because, Logan was like, no, like, Charles would have loved you, and that sort of thing. Like, yeah.
That was great.
For people who aren't in the know, Cassandra Nova, Charles's twin, but not really.
It's a very Venture Brothers storyline.
Yeah, they have a psychic battle in the womb. She gets, like just like a clump of cells in the fucking sewer, and is living in the sewer for a while. Like,
it's so fucking stupid.
Yes, it is incredibly stupid, but also, like, the fact that they were able to take that character and, like, do something.
That's what I like about the Marvel movies, is they take some of the stupidest idea in comics and manage to make something out of them, like the whole Civil War storyline.
Like, I really enjoyed Cassandra Nova. It was a great character.
Yeah, I was smitten.
One thing that I appreciate is when Wolverine and Deadpool make their after Johnny Storm gets all of his flesh ripped from his bones.
Yeah,
because Deadpool's an asshole.
Yeah, Deadpool narked on him and got him murked.
Yep. But like, Wolverine immediately went to the Sentinel leg, which says so much about the history of that Wolverine.
Yes. Was that a Sentinel leg, or was that like a
Hulkbuster?
Hulkbuster?
Absolutely. No, that was absolutely a Sentinel leg.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't realize. For some reason I thought it was Hulkbuster armor, but that's fine.
No, I mean, that would have worked too, but also just, like, the fact that, like, and I appreciate that they didn't, like, have anyone explain it was a Sentinel leg. Like, if you know what it is, you know what it is. If not, it's just a robot leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, like, it worked, like, a quick thinking, like, let's get out of here.
We are way outgunned. Let's get the fuck out of here.
So
yeah.
They have a nice little scene at the diner after that,
with Logan drinking straight up
hand sanitizer.
Sanitizer.
And I'm sitting here going, at least strain it through some bread, motherfucker. Jeez.
Well, they don't. There's anything that's in there, he can deal with. Will make him sick.
True. It is Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, we meet Dogpool.
God,
yes.
That is the most disgusting dog I've ever seen.
I love that dog so much.
The tongue is horrifying. Was that digitally altered?
The tongue is bigger than the dog. It has to be. That dog could not live with a tongue that big.
Yeah, it's like if John Cristofalusi designed a dog that wasn't Ren. This is that dog.
Its tongue was bigger than its head.
Yeah. And we also meet who I call Facepool.
They also call him Nice Pool, right?
Yeah. I think that literally was just Ryan Reynolds. That was just Ryan Reynolds in a suit.
Oh, you think it's Ronald? It's Ryan Reynolds from Our World.
Yeah, just Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
But no, I guess he is Deadpool. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the shittiest Deadpool. Like.
yeah. And that's where
they
they get the Honda Odyssey that fucks.
Yep. And they have the greatest fight in any of the X-Men movies ever.
Inside the van.
In the car.
well,
in and
inside
around
and
the car,
outside.
Yes, and then they end up asleep in the car with Deadpool tied up in seatbelts.
All the seatbelts. In fact, I think
All the
that was
seatbelts.
way more seatbelts than like 3 Honda Odysseys actually have stock. But who am I to judge?
Yeah. And which
yeah.
that leads us to them getting picked up by the rebels.
Oh, you
Which
mean like
is-
Luke Skywalker and
Yes, exactly. We got an early Harrison Ford in there. No,
So these are the spoilers I was definitely glad I was not spoilered on, because there was just I didn't expect any of them. I was like, who the fuck's kidnapping them?
yeah. Okay, I knew one of them was going to be X-23, so because they mentioned her so much, I was like, she's got to be in this.
So Jennifer Garner as Elektra.
Which, good for her.
Yeah,
They should
no,
have
and then
had should have
I
had Ben
appreciate
Affleck in
the-
there somewhere.
Well, I do appreciate the dig on Ben Affleck.
Yeah, because
When
they're not on good terms.
Yeah, like when they mentioned that Daredevil died, just like,
It's fine.
So the one that got me was Wesley Snipes coming back as Blade, especially
no.
because of that
When-
history.
When he
Yes.
walked in, I was like, oh
Now,
fuck.
the fact that he said the R word, I was like, of course he said the R word.
It was so fucking good.
Yeah, when he said, I thought you were retired. I'm what? He said, I'm, yeah. I was like, whoa, he said it in a modern movie. Oh, man.
And then, of course, Channing Tatum as the Gambit that never was.
God, that
Yeah.
poor son of a bitch.
Yeah, so later, like looking stuff up, I knew there had been talks of a standalone Gambit movie in the Origins series. I did not realize it had always had Channing Tatum attached.
He
And
was trying to be to Gambit what Ryan Reynolds was to Deadpool.
yeah, because apparently
I
he's a
love-
big fan even before that.
I loved his Gambit. That line about his daddy's buttery nuts all up in his mama.
And maybe it was growing up in Louisiana, but I didn't have as much of a hard of a time understanding what he was saying as like Kevin did.
I had problems, but not as many as some people as well, because like I have had to deal with the most Cajun sons of bitches you've ever met. And I can
Who's your
usually get-
dialogue coach? The Minions?
I'm gonna say it. Him as Gambit was kind of just his character from 21 Jump Street as Gambit.
Never seen it, but
Oh, look, you know me. I'm not a big fan of like modern comedy movies,
Yeah.
but like that was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and like his Gambit was great. Like very in character. The costume was great. The actual like action that he did.
Oh,
Yeah.
they had the powers down pat, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course we get X-23, which I'm just so happy to see her, and I hope
Same.
they find a way to keep her around.
She was great.
I love Laura. Laura's great.
Yep. She had probably my favorite line to Wolverine in the entire movie when he said, "Oh God, what was it he said?" And she said, "You
You were never the right guy."
You're never the right guy until you
Yeah.
are."
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
like, God
I think he
damn
just
it."
basically just said, "I'm not the right guy."
yeah.
Yeah, that was so fucking good.
So inevitably, like Deadpool kind of tease him up for like getting together to take on Cassandra Nova.
Because she's the
not-
only way out of the
and-
Badlands.
And also, not in a we're gonna get out of here way, but don't you want a chance to at least go out like heroes? Which I was like, yeah, these guys would be the ones that would be like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think anybody, that is quote unquote a hero like that, if they're stuck in this purgatory, they're like, well, am I just going to sit here and survive, or am I going to at least do something with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which leads to the inevitable. They head back to Cassandra Nova's because they need to get Juggernaut's helmet because Magneto already died, and his
Yep.
helmet was melted down.
Yeah, they
and
needed a
Deadpool
way to
goes,
protect-
Fuck!
protect themselves from her finger fucking their brains.
Right.
Hey, don't get David turned on.
Right. Oh, and we also have we get the reveal that Pyro is kind of keeping tabs on Cassandra for
he's
Paradox.
working for Paradox.
Yeah. So we get the big fight, which not the best fight.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I felt it was a little underwhelming, but also it was Jennifer Garner and Wesley Snipes are not young people.
Yeah, no, like it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but there are two fights in the movie that really stand out to me, and that I think it's probably the same fights that you guys would probably think of as well.
Okay.
Obviously, the Honda Odyssey one.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the finale fight.
Maybe.
Well, okay, I do have my issues with that, but I do appreciate some novelty to it. Anyway, so they managed to fight their way to Cassandra. She pours into Wolverine's head, learns of his trauma, which I thought was him. Yeah, which I felt like his reason for being the worst Wolverine. It worked for me.
Yeah, no, that's what I liked about it. I was like, no, this totally fucking works. Like, and now he wears the costume to guilt himself. Mm-hmm. He's punishing himself. I was like, God, this is fucking great.
Yeah. Pyro shows up, backstabs Cassandra.
Yep.
By shooting her several times in the stomach.
And they slap the helmet on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then to save her, they take the helmet off.
Well, yeah, because she's going to die with the helmet on, but she's their only ticket out of there. So it's like, when you got the bull by the horns, it's like you have to let it go at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, but Wolverine convinces her, like, Charles would have loved you, Charles loved everyone, that sort of thing, which, like, that would have worked if, like, that was kind of like the end of her thing in the movie.
Yeah.
But she does that heel turn where she wants to destroy everything again, and I'm like,
So I don't think she's psychotic, and I don't think you have to realize that anything they said in that span wouldn't have stuck.
Yeah, I guess so, but just like I don't know. I think the third act villain should have been Paradox.
I think they needed someone that had more strength than him. He just kind of he was just a regular guy, And they wanted to make the stakes, more than
bigger.
just that one universe. It was all universes.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if this is the thing that bothered me most about the movie's still fine.
Yeah, I think it's pretty in line for Cassandra when she found out that she had been like duped all along to just go ballistic. Like she's not a rational character.
Yeah, I did like when Pyro was like, just fucking ask. You don't have to do that every time.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
the sling ring. Yeah.
With 2 Infinity Stones embedded in it. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice the Infinity Stones. No.
Yeah, it had like the time and space stones embedded in it, so she could send them literally anywhere.
Any time.
That's awesome.
So they get there and they're trying to get down into the sewers to stop what I'm just gonna call the reality bomb, which is I know it's a Doctor Who thing. I don't give a fuck.
That's when Cassandra finds out and sends
and they got name checked earlier with Nice Pool. The Deadpool Corps shows up, which Lady Deadpool's there,
which has even more, Easter eggs and cameos.
Cowboy
so
Deadpool,
Lady Deadpool, Blake Lively, Cowboy Deadpool, Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
Yeah. Kid Pool was Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's daughter.
Oh wow.
Head Pool.
Head Pool, Nathan Fillion.
Dog Pool showed back up.
Yeah, you had like Welsh Pool.
There was
because of Wrexham.
There's like a knight. Wait, who was Welsh Pool?
So he's the one that has like the dragon on his chest.
Oh, that was him. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a reference to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney owning the Wrexham football team.
Oh, right. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought that was Mexican Pool.
Well, and Rob McElhenney was supposed to be in the movie, but they cut his scene. I guess he was playing a TVA agent.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
probably just, cut the scene where you see his face.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the guys in the suits.
Well, so this is when Wolverine masks up, and they go through, which I had my problems with the fight, but it was really fun to see comics Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like,
Just stabbing the shit out of people.
Oh yeah, body parts flying. Well, here's my issue with the fight. Like, I love the fact that it was like moving from left to right. You have that sense of momentum.
It also felt
there were
like
things
comic panels.
Yeah, and also things going on forward and background. But I think the issue was it was shot so flat. If they had changed the focus, to the front and back periodically, like here's Wolverine doing stuff in the foreground, then shift focus to the background where Deadpool,
and then they
exactly
switch. Yeah.
Yes,
No, I get that.
Like, I think that would have made the whole scene play off a lot better.
Now, there's two things at the end of that fight that bugged me.
Okay.
First off, I wish they had actually had Deadpool stick the landing. I felt like that joke was just like, come on, man.
Well,
I don't know.
It's not so much about the landing; it's that freeze frame moment of bursting through the glass, because that's the pose. It's if you're drawing the comic panel.
Yeah.
If you're drawing the comic panel, what is it you're going to draw? Them landing or them doing the leap?
The dynamic.
I know, but still, I was like, y'all could have just given him this one moment.
Well, I mean, he managed to bring back Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I think Deadpool won overall in the end.
Okay, fair.
But you know what I mean about that whole, like, the stick the landing thing doesn't take away from the cool part of him, like, busting out of a fucking bus with Wolverine.
Yeah.
One thing I am a little disappointed. I can kind of understand why maybe I'm not sure it's a rights issue, but I'm a little disappointed there was no Gwenpool in the core. Because I'm pretty sure that's legally distinct enough from Spider-Man's Gwen Stacy, but especially if she never.
I'm just mad Dogpool didn't get to fire a gun once.
That's true.
Yeah, like, because you can see Dogpool kind of running around in the background during the big fight, but, like, I would just love to see a scene where Dogpool has, like, a gun in his mouth and he shoots at Deadpool.
Yep. So, after that, of course, everyone but Nicepool has a healing factor, which led to one of my favorite moments in the entire movie is watching Nicepool just get obliterated.
Like, Nicepool got the biggest laugh
shield
in my theater when I saw it the first time, when he did the reference to the proposal. Yes, I can gently tap the fourth wall.
The proposal. What the fuck was that? Yeah, no, that was great. That was actually great.
Yeah, I got the biggest pop. It was very funny.
But he used them as a human shield, and then his head got exploded. So,
and then he got the guns. Like, you just waited the whole time for Deadpool to kill him to get the guns and the dog.
Yeah. Yep.
And they nailed that. They nailed that whole thing.
The other thing I didn't like about the fight was it's like, okay, yeah, they're all getting back up because Deadpool. I don't know. I felt like the Peter thing was a cop-out.
No, you had to have some way to disengage two, unstoppable forces.
Yeah, okay.
And he is Sugar Bear. He is Sugar Bear.
That's true. I did like that
his
all
fucking
of them...
his fucking junk stuffed into that Deadpool outfit.
Fucking massive hog on
the
that
scene at the party where he's got his piercings, because you hear him talk about his friend getting piercings, and then you see him at the party.
He's the
friend.
I fucking love Peter, man.
Yeah, no, I love Peter, and I do. I just felt like it was a cop-out, but I did like the fact that, like, they're, hey, it's Peter! And then Deadpool says, you guys have fun with my Peter.
Yeah, well, and then the other thing is, like, this is always going to be a comedy first.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're going to go for a joke, go for the joke. So, like, them all being like, oh my god, it's... But, like, the idea of Peter being a universal constant is just very funny to me.
Yes. So, they end up fucking up the reality bomb by basically...
Power of friendship.
The power of friendship... Well, okay, first off, I honestly kind of thought this could be the end of Deadpool. Like, I literally thought, oh, well, this is it. But then...
Could be the end of this Deadpool, at least.
Yeah, and they have a new Deadpool in the MCU, but nope.
I don't know what
him saved it, and they stole how the Guardians of the Galaxy won in the first movie,
which
with the
is
power
fine.
of friendship.
they were doing like a Star Trek II Wrath of Khan thing. They were doing a Guardians thing. I do think that like the way that they used like a prayer really worked.
I was just gonna say that was shockingly good.
Like when Wolverine's like shirt rips off, and you see he's still got like that crazy jacked up body, and Deadpool's just kind of like looking it over.
Yeah, just looking at it like, whoa. But no, I read that Ryan Reynolds personally went to Madonna to ask for permission for like a prayer.
Mm-hmm. Which is good.
Yeah, no, he's really
good. He's a good guy.
The Deadpool series has always been great with like needle drops. Mm-hmm. But I really do think that usage of like a prayer during that final fight, and then like when the two of them are like holding each other's hands to like that
make
that
the
worked.
Connection.
It was really well done. Yeah.
Also, what's a lady that works for the TVA that showed up that was in Loki?
I think it's Hunter B-52, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
B-15.
The fact
B-15?
that
I think
she was so randy for Peter in that suit.
Mm-hmm.
She just wanted to nail Peter. I was
I just appreciate the raw thirst when she sees him.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking funny. It's just like...
The same as everyone else's raw thirst at Hugh Jackman with no shirt on in every single moment he didn't have a shirt on. Mm-hmm. It was actually a fun ending, and it was a happy ending. And Deadpool, Wolverine stuck around in that world. They brought X-23 over.
Shatterstar is still there for some reason.
Because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Well, he went around and saved people, like he saved his girl with the time thing. So, it's fine.
Yeah, a fun, happy ending. I think the best part of the ending was, for me, in the credits when they did Good Riddance and it's just clips of... And it made me realize, man, like, I grew up with so many of these fucking movies, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to say that, first off, I fucking hate that song. It's so overplayed, but, like, just this once, I was like, I'm going to give it to you. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I was seeing the movie with my dad, and my dad started singing that song. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
Dude's in his 60s, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus. But no, it was a sweet moment. But yeah, like, just that whole montage...
behind the scenes of a bunch of Fox Marvel movies.
Obviously, like, super X-Men focused, obviously. But I do appreciate, like, a little bit of everything in there.
I think they had some Blade in there.
Yeah, they had some Blade. They had Daredevil stuff. They had...
Fantastic Four, both versions.
Something I didn't realize until someone posted a clip because of the post Deadpool and Wolverine hype. I forgot that Ryan Reynolds was in Blade Trinity.
And people were pissed because they were like, "Yeah, no, this guy'd make a great Deadpool," and then like they don't let him be Deadpool.
Yeah, because apparently in the filming of that, whatever, I forget what the actual character's name was he played, but they basically had him act like Deadpool.
They based him on Deadpool. Yeah.
His characterization.
Yeah.
Instead of the actual character he was playing, which is kind of a weird thing to do.
Well,
it's a very Hollywood thing to do, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the same thing with like Kevin Feige needing to sneak in comics while they were making the first X-Men movie.
I love that story, by the way, because Bryan Singer was like, "I don't want anybody reading the comics," and Kevin Feige's like, "Fucking idiot."
Yeah.
And just brought comics and slipped them under the door, and everybody, and that's the only reason there is a bub in the first movie, Mike. Is because Hugh Jackman's sitting there going, "These are fucking great. I need to actually do this." Mm-hmm. So,
and I do like that this movie is a nice little send off to the Fox era.
Yes,
like a very uneven era, but also like so incredibly important to like the language of superhero movies.
Yeah, and Blade does not get enough credit for being like the real beginning of the Marvel cinematic. Yeah,
like it was the first real successful Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. Like before that, what did they have? They had Howard the Duck. They had a bunch of like made for TV movies.
There was And that brings me to something I wanted to bring up. There was the 1990 Captain America film by, God, who directed it? Albert Pyun directed it. And he is famous in B-movies.
Yeah.
Which, there's 2 cameos I would have loved in there. Either Matt Salinger from that movie as Captain America, or fucking get Red Brown on the motorcycle from the 70s TV movie. I'm just saying.
You know who would have been a fun cameo to fit in there? I don't know, like, legally because of the rights being held with another studio, but Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk.
Oh, that would have been funny, yeah.
Yeah, but I think like Hulk.
Yeah, it's a right.
Still tied with Universal. That's why we're not getting like individual Hulk movies or whatever. But like, yeah, it would have been cool. They would have thrown in Lou Ferrigno.
Actually, God, what's his name from Reanimator? Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, Jeffrey Combs. Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Jeffrey Combs as an alternate Doctor Strange.
I mean, they do have the rights to Hulk stuff.
Yeah. I feel like the Lou
Ferrigno
Hulk is still like tied up, but also that's just me being like overly like greedy now.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, like the Red Brown thing.
I think they were mostly focusing on the Fox stuff.
I know
Fox,
fine.
The Fox Marvel stuff.
Which, but we're going to be seeing. I'm sure we're going to be seeing Ryan Reynolds. We're going to be seeing Hugh Jackman, and then we're going to be seeing X-23 in the next 2 big Avengers movies for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know about Hugh Jackman.
I don't know, maybe, but they're building
feel like,
the Secret Wars.
Yeah,
so.
if they're doing Secret Wars, they're probably going to bring him in as like the ultimate swan song for a lot of this. Like I have my theories. It's going to be a complete reboot for a lot of stuff, but like he if he was open to this. That he would be open to a payday with like, okay, I get to be with like
I get
Tobey
to hang out
Maguire.
with Spider-Man?
Yeah, I get to hang out with Tobey Maguire, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth.
All them Chris's.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
I don't know about Chris Evans. I don't know if he'll ever come back for anything other than this. I mean, the only reason he came back for this was because he wasn't Captain America.
I'm going to tell you why he came back for that, because Ryan Reynolds called him and said, look, I got this funny idea.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you would come back and be Johnny Storm again. And he was like, I would love to. And he said, I've got this obscenity-laced tirade you're going to do. And we can get cue cards. And he said, no, I'm going to memorize it. The whole reason I want to do this is because I never get to do this dialogue anymore.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
The fact that they had Johnny Storm describe his asshole as a cinnamon ring was wonderful to me.
So, I guess what we were saying is, despite some complaints, we really enjoyed the movie and you should go see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely fun. I liked it as like a good send-off to the Fox universe, Fox wing of Marvel.
Ever since the set pictures leaked with the 20th Century Fox monolith in the background, I wondered how the fuck are they going to have this in the movie?
Deadpool.
Yeah.
But, wow, we've been talking about this for an hour.
Yeah, so I think maybe, I'm sure we'll have some other thoughts over the coming weeks, but how about we take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk about some of our other distractions. But yeah, this was the Deadpool and Wolverine special of the Distraction Hole, which I feel is very fair.
Yes, I'm glad we all actually saw it and we could do this. So
yeah, absolutely. I would love to do more stuff like this. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we get back, we will talk about some other distractions.
Hey man, what's got you off in your phone there?
Oh, just going through all the funny Mothman memes and supernatural shit posts I've been wanting to share. I just don't know where to put the posts yet.
Don't you know about the Supernatural Selection Discord?
We have a Discord?
Yeah, for years, dude. Where have you been?
Can people chat with the hosts and get previews of upcoming episodes and generally post funny shit as much as they want with other listeners?
I mean, if that's your bag. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that, but there are even live streaming events for the shows there, too. You've been in a few. How do you not know this stuff?
It must have been my doppelganger. How do I get into the Discord?
It's easy. Just visit discord.supernaturalselectionpod.com. Now say that 3 times fast.
Well, that's perfect. Now I can share 3 terabytes of Hollow Earth memes. Get it? Terabytes.
Never mind. Forget I said anything. Just don't do that. You should definitely not visit discord.supernaturalselectionpod.com to join the Discord. Don't. We don't want you there.
Too late. I'm already posting my alien abduction fan fiction with the general chat.
Join the hosts and listeners of Supernatural Selection on the official Discord. Just visit discord.supernaturalselectionpod.com.
And we're back. It's not a filthy, foul hole. It's more of like a hobbit hole. Welcome back to the distraction hole.
I always just picture it being like the hole from Silence of the Lambs.
Like, do you guys have any interesting hole stories that are safe for work?
No.
Okay. I have an interesting hole. Like, I find holes to be comforting. I used to live next to a field.
Okay,
and
Marcus.
I would literally like dirt child with a shovel.
Jesus. Okay.
But yeah, I dug out a hole in the field and I'd just go kind of like hang out in my hole. I made like a tier step so you could sit down and. It was cool. Like, I'm probably revealing a lot about myself. That's probably weird, but yeah, no,
you trained to be a corpse.
Yeah, no, actually, that's pretty close. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it bad that ever since I saw Gleaming the Cube, I want an underground, like,
oh, you want to live in the sewer pipe? Yeah.
No, I don't want to live, but I want to have,
pipe.
like, a, fallout shelter / rumpus room. I don't know.
No, hell yeah, man.
When I saw Gleaming the Cube, I thought that was pretty badass, too.
Yeah,
now,
that's awesome.
You were a dirt child. I was one of those kids that, like, you know how there's those kids that, like, would take electronics apart and then be able to put them back together?
Me?
Autistic?
Yeah. I had half of that, and yet I loved to take electronics apart, and then they were broken.
Did you place them on the healing table?
Like I was like 6.
I've heard of technomancers, but technomanglers?
Yeah.
So
I gutted a lot of transistor radios.
At least you bothered using tools. My brother was called Destructo because he destroyed them with just blunt force.
Oh no, I
is this
got
the
my
same
dad's
brother in
screwdriver.
the band?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That should be his stage name, Mike. Tell him he should go by Destructo on the next album.
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and dive into this. Mike, I want you to tell us what you've been distracting yourself with.
Wait,
You're on the spot, motherfucker.
yeah,
Mike's anime avalanche.
I'm having to shift gears because I was thinking, didn't I have a whole thing I was going to talk about? But I don't remember now.
If you want to talk about holes, I can talk about holes all day.
Yeah. Can you?
That's shocking.
Can you dig half a hole?
There's no such thing.
Well, it depends. It depends.
You can dig a hole half the size, but you can't dig half a hole.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you declare what your aim is for the overall hole and you only dig half of it, you've only dug half the hole.
But it's still a hole.
The whole hole. But anyway, that's just a philosophical question. Now we're going to go to Mike's anime whole damn house.
I was going to say Mike's anime avalanche.
Mike's
It's
anime
not a
hole.
corner. It's not a room. It's just a whole house. It's an annex. Mike's anime annex. So in the intervening weeks, I've watched 6 not whole series, because most of these series actually have a season 2 that are coming out, or season 2 or 3 that are on the horizon. But whole seasons, 6 whole seasons of anime, and a couple of others I've started. Starting off with one that David recommended, which is Insomniacs After School's the English title.
Okay.
So this is it's a story of 2 high schoolers that have trouble sleeping at night looking at Kevin for no particular reason.
Yep.
And
just sticking toothpicks under my eyelids. We're all good.
So they end up meeting in the observatory at school. One of them, trying to remember their names now.
Steve.
There's like Magari and Nakami.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the girl's like asleep in a locker that looks very much like a coffin. And, scares the shit out of the guy. But they find out, they both have trouble sleeping at night. And they end up, hanging out at night and going around. And they end up joining the astronomy club so they can keep use of the observatory as their, chill hangout spot. And shenanigans ensue. Of course, he end up, realizing they like each other.
I was going to say, is it sexy shenanigans?
It's not that type. It's actually a very sweet,
It's
very,
so
romantic, wholesome.
It's so fucking wholesome.
So the character designs are kind of very throwback. Like they kind of remind me of the character designs from like around the Wings of Haname's era. That kind of more rounded face, anime style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, so much so that I had to look up the artist to see if they've done a lot of other stuff, but they're a relatively young artist. So they
wear their inspiration on their sleeve.
Yeah. And I say, because a lot of it's set at night, they're very like vivid, lush nightscapes in this show. Like the stars are very prominent, and whereas a lot of like, shows, night is just kind of like dark and blue. Well, it's not so much here. It's very pretty at night. Mm-hmm. And just them and their shenanigans. This is one of the shows that does have a season 2 on the horizon. I believe it's estimated that season 2 will finish it out because the manga is in fact finished.
Yeah, I finished the manga and I was sad. It was lovely, but I was sad.
Yeah. So looking forward to that, but very, very much recommended on that one. Then I went to kind of another end of spectrum. I've noticed a lot of recent anime is very like the style. There's not a lot of cookie cutter styling, which I love. Like they're all very distinct in their visual language. Mm-hmm. So the next show I watched was More Than a Married Couple, But Not Lovers. It's like the most anime premise ever, in that the characters in a high school, that part of their requirement is to live as married couples for, their grades. And it is so contrived, so bizarre, but fun. Like, and the visual style of this one, it's very like kind of neon, almost not quite a lineless design, but the lines are frequently complementary colors to the fill colors. So everything is very, I don't know.
So very 10 years ago webcomic.
No, not that bad. Like, it does a lot of tone use as well, like half tones and things.
No, I gotcha. I didn't mean that as an insult.
Well, I don't think it looks like a webcomic from 10 years ago. It looks like I don't know, it's its own kind of thing. Very pastel, bright, vibrant. I don't know. It's just I liked how different this was from what I'd been watching before that. Just
okay.
Yeah, another one that has a upcoming season 2. But shenanigans is who they have to pretend they're married. So the main characters, Akari, and where's the other guy? Where's he? Jiro, yeah. So they have to be married, but of course both of them love other people, who are also are in their pretend high school marriage. And she is like almost I can never. What's the type of girl that's all tanned and like wears leopard print? Yeah. I can never say how that is. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think it's Ganguro.
Ganguro, yeah. She's almost like that, except neon instead of spray tan. Very outgoing, but also very unsure of herself, it turns out. And so she starts falling for the Jiro, the guy she lives with, and doesn't want to admit it to herself. And, hijinks ensue. They have to,
so
be
it's like it's taking that like cliche episode of like the two kids have to raise the egg together.
Yes,
for a school project.
There's a
but,
whole.
like, now you have to live together.
Yeah, they have separate bedrooms, and
Well, of course,
there's
the good Christian.
there's
should.
some.
This is a Christian Minecraft server.
They show that there's some form of monitoring in the room, which sounds a little creepy to me,
Right?
considering how at times she's so. Whereas Insomniacs After School was very wholesome, this one is definitely more ichy. Like
more lewd.
there's lots of more lewd. There's more like cleavage shots and really short skirts, and like she frequently ends up on top of Jiru doing suggestive things. But the fact that they're doing this but still being monitored by somebody,
right?
because they're getting
There's
scored on
some
this.
guy happening.
Yeah, no, there's just some teacher going raw.
Yeah, no, they're getting kind of intense, and then they just hear from the closet, ah.
Next season special appearance by Chris Hansen.
Yeah, oh yeah, no kidding.
Have a seat. Take a cookie.
But it also kind of has a, obviously, it's a romance anime, so it's going to have, feelings and things like that. But it was not as unsweet as Insomniacs. Like it still had some of that, and not as deep, I would say, as Insomniacs After School. Okay. But still a fun
It's not
watch.
saccharine.
It leans more that way, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Insomniacs
Was
saccharine.
saccharine.
No.
It was just like, mainlining sugar.
Yeah, there's definitely like a very like sweet, comforty food element to Insomniacs. This sounds like it has just a little bit of edge. So like even though
this would
there's
be more
sweetness
saccharine,
to it,
maybe.
It's like sweet and sour.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of is there was this anime that when Mike, do you remember when I threw my back out and was bedridden for a solid month? All I could do was watch YouTube and Netflix. And there was an anime on Netflix called Silver Spoon. And it was about a kid that ends up having to go to a farming school.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. So
Yeah,
it's
I would
one of
highly
those.
recommend it.
So next on Mike's anime avalanche is
Anime?
is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl.
What the fuck?
So this is based on a light novel series.
I do like that the anime titles are getting progressively more anime as we're going forward.
There's anime as fuckboy, but
What's that about anime fuckboys?
yeah. So in this, the main character, Sakuta, he's in a library and he runs into a classmate that is dressed in a Playboy style bunny costume.
Is this
bustier.
the one you told me about?
I don't know if I told you about this one or not. Bunny ears and everything, but apparently her issue is that nobody can see her, or a lot of people cannot see her.
Okay, this is not the
And
one.
what it turns out is that this this story is centered around teenagers that have odd, like, supernatural problems, and it's called the guy calls it puberty syndrome, which I don't know what puberty has to do with it, but other than that, just it all involves young people. But which is the girl's name, her issue is that she used to be a star, like, she was an actress and model and everything, and she gave it up so she could finish school. But all of a sudden, fewer and fewer people can actually see her. Like, people in school can see her, but anybody outside of school, like, she can do anything in front of them and they just don't see her, don't recognize her, don't even, see her presence at all. And so
So this is just the movie
Sakuta.
Harvey, but with anime
Yeah.
girls.
It's
Sort of.
Harvey.
But it gets worse and worse because, like, eventually
It's a
she
bunny
just
girl.
starts disappearing from everybody's perception, and Sakuta has to help her with that. And there's several arcs through it where, you know, that's her issue, and, you know, once they get through with her stuff, you know, they start dating. But because now she's gone back to her celebrity life, you know, that's kind of hit or miss. So he's got to fill his time helping all his other classmates with their puberty syndrome issues, which some involve time travel. And so it's basically a very similar vein to, Melancholy of,
Yeah.
gosh, what's her
Haruhi?
Haruhi,
Haruhi,
yeah.
God, that second fucking season.
Yeah, I know. But it's very similar to that, in that, you know, teenage kids and weird supernatural issues coming up.
See, now, here's the problem. I kind of want to check all these out that you've mentioned so far.
Yeah. No, they all get my stamp of approval. I don't have any stinkers on my list tonight.
Oh, good.
So this is another one that has a second season on the way.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is one that is like done. It is over. So there's not. Oh no, is there a second season of this? I don't remember. This one's done. This one came out in 2012, so there is no second season. If I want more of this story, I'm gonna have to read the light novels, which, you know. So it is called Kokoro Connect. Just making sure I'm pronouncing it right.
Is that the new version of Connect 4?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is another teenagers and supernatural stuff, but it's 5 students in the student cultural society, which basically they ended up there because when they were filling out their surveys, they either put something dumb or just nothing at all. So they got shoved into this club. And so one day something very odd happens in that randomly they start swapping bodies.
Okay.
And so turns out there's some entity that possesses one of their teachers and tells them that they're very interesting, and he's just going to see what they do when they, you know, have weird things happen to them.
Okay.
And yeah, so in this they have to deal with the oddity of, you know, someone else being in someone else's body for a little while and having to go about their day as somebody else. And I don't know. I mean, it's a great show, but man, it gets really heavy at times. Like there's one character who obviously has some real baggage that they start, you know, digging through. But it's a good show. Just not the lightest one. It has its moments.
It's funny because this whole anime you're talking this whole ass anime you're talking about is literally just one small arc in One Piece.
Oh yeah.
It's just wild.
This one has a season and then 3 OVAs that kind of like capped it off.
Oh, okay.
But you know, that just finished out kind of the storylines they were on. But there's still more in the light novels. But I mean, this one probably not my favorite of what I've seen so far, but it was worth watching.
Now did you watch the OVAs as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and something about this show, I don't know if it was like the designs or anything, it felt very familiar. Like I'm watching it going, did I see this before? But I know for a fact I've never seen it before, but some things were just really familiar.
It could be the
way.
character designer.
I mean, even some of the like locations, some of the like setups were just felt.
Well, these are all like high school anime too, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, and it wasn't in the school. Like, for instance, there was one scene in a hospital that felt really familiar.
Okay.
So I don't know what the deal was there, but anyway, Kokoro Connect, good, not the best, not the worst.
Okay.
Then I decided to take a detour from, high school kids and went to, it's difficult to love an otaku, or it's difficult, love is love, bleh. Hello. I cannot talk.
All right, give it a try. Take
love
two.
is hard for otaku.
Okay.
I was trying to read two sentences at once. It is an office anime with, real ass adults where one of the main characters, Narumi, is starting a new job, and she's lamenting about how she can't let anybody at the office know she's otaku because, it didn't go well for her at her last job. And the first person she runs into is her childhood friend, Hirotaka, and who knows all about her past, knows just how big of a nerd she is. And she has to head it off at the pass and, keep him from spilling the beans about how big of a nerd she is. Well, it turns out all the other she makes friends with other people in the office, and they're all giant nerds anyway, so they just, start nerding out together.
Aww.
Going to the bar after work and drinking and being giant anime and game nerds and, going to conventions and, stuff like that. Just some, and of course, along the way, there's some romance between Narumi and Hirotaka.
Okay.
And, it was a nice change from the high schoolers for, grown-ass adults.
Chris Hansen is listening right now.
Yes.
Good.
And just, it's for someone that, watches a lot of anime, it's nice because there's, like, references. I'm like, I get that reference. Like, when one of the other people, Hanako, starts talking about her love of Yoi, I'm like going, oh God, I know where this is going.
I've seen enough anime to know where this is headed.
Yes. So, I identified with these, 20-something-year-olds. God damn it, I'm old. Living their best nerd life.
It sounds like a nice little slice of life thing, which I do appreciate about a lot of anime is, like, you get a lot of these, like, very simple kind of, like, slice of life stories that you wouldn't get in American animation.
Yeah, and that's what this kick really has been, other than, the supernatural bent on some of them. It's been very, slice of life. This one's another one that doesn't have a second season coming because there was a season and then a couple of OVAs, but the OVAs basically, hit all the high points of what could have been a second season. And there's, no more source material. Well, there's more source material, but it's like, it's all the bits left over. The last full season I watched was a show called Call of the Night, which, and a surprise, it's about a teenager who can't sleep. You seeing a running theme here?
I'm kind of noticing something there.
They did kind of like. You need help, Kevin. Kevin, you need help.
They did. They kind of did strike, a chord with me because as someone who prefers staying up at night, but it's about around 14-year-old. So Japanese school, like how their grades are set up, fucks with me because he's a quote middle schooler, but he's probably around like 14, so he's older than I would expect a middle schooler to be. But his name's K-O-U, and he can't sleep at night. They haven't gotten to why yet, which I did like that, there was valid reasons in Insomniacs After School that they got into, like why they couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Trauma.
Yeah, but kind of in one case, yes.
Shit.
Trauma in one, and then a medical thing in the other.
Yeah. Well, and psychological trauma because of the medical thing in the other. Which, I didn't mention that one. I was telling you about, talking about it, but like the last couple of episodes, I'm like sitting there on like pins and needles thinking, oh, please don't tell me she's going to die.
Right.
So I was kind of
someone who
expecting
read
that.
the manga after watching that first season, that was my every chapter. I'm like, oh God, please don't let this be it.
Yeah. But anyway, so Ko can't sleep, so he decides to walk around, and he stopped going to school, which I think, wow, his parents really aren't paying much attention if they don't notice he hasn't been going to school.
That happens in a lot of anime, though.
Yeah, I mean, the same reason a lot of these kids end up, living by themselves. I think it's just kind of like expedient, story devices and kind of a wish fulfillment thing. What kid doesn't want to, just skip school and, live by themselves, but yet somehow be completely sufficient, self-sufficient. Anyway, so he ventures out at night, which, judging by how scared these kids are of cops, I'm assuming if there's not like a official curfew, it's generally frowned upon for kids to be out at night, late at night in Japan. Because, whenever they see cops, they're always like, hiding from them in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, in his, outing at night, he ends up meeting Nazuna. Turns out she's a vampire.
This is the one you told me about.
And turns out his blood tastes really good to her. So, after meeting her and, hanging out for a while, he decides he wants to be a vampire. Problem is, I don't know, there's something wrong with this guy. He doesn't think he has any friends, which it turns out he does, but he also doesn't quite understand, like, interpersonal relationships. Maybe he's on the spectrum, I don't know.
I can't believe my vampire is autistic.
Yeah, but in this world, the mechanic for turning into a vampire is you have to fall in love with them.
Wait.
So he has to fall in love with her and then have her drink his blood, but he doesn't even really know what love is.
He wants to know what love is, and he wants her to show him.
Yes. So, yeah, so he's got to fall in love, and he really doesn't know what that exactly entails. And also, to make matters worse, is for Nazuna, anything like bordering on romance embarrasses the hell out of her. She can tell dirty jokes like a sailor, but can't handle romance stuff.
Okay, this sounds pretty good.
I'm sitting here
it's
going,
great.
I may have
and since it's another one set at night, it is a very pretty show. Like, and the night is instead of Insomniacs, where it was very, clear and bright. Here it's like very neon and almost lurid.
Is it vaporwave?
Kind of, yes. Very pinks and purples.
Vaporwave.
And a very, vaporwave, pink, purple starred skies. And the daytime, by, contrast, the little they show it is very dull.
I'm definitely interested in this, but I was thinking about, like, he has those interpersonal issues. He's not really, doesn't really know, like, romance and everything like that. And it just kind of, it evokes some of that stuff that's going on in Japan right now with the population decrease and people just not, like, getting married and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if there's a little bit of social commentary.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure a lot of this stuff has.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Some subtext of social commentary.
But what is this one called again?
Yeah.
Call of the Night.
Call of the Night.
This one also has a in process second season, which I'm thankful for. But yeah, and so he finds out more about the vampires, which it's obviously being vampires. There's going to be some unseemly bits about them. It's not all happy fun flying and nicely getting a little bit of blood off your favorite person. So yeah, it's all, and him finding out yet he does have friends. Why didn't he think of he had friends? I don't know.
Right.
Same reason I think everyone hates me most of the time.
Mental illness.
Yeah. It's a mother.
Yep. So if you were to if you had to pick one of them to be like, okay, if there's one that you should watch after listening to this episode, which one would you say?
Honestly, if you're gonna just watch one, I'd say Insomniacs After School, because it is probably the best of them. but I would say Call of the Night is a pretty close second. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, of the ones that you mentioned, I'm definitely interested in Call of the Night because I'm like a late night anime watcher.
Yeah.
Because I have sleeping issues too. Go figure. And I need something else to watch besides the endless meetings of Tensei Slime. So
yeah. And then there's two things I've started watching, and I'm just a couple episodes in. One of them is My Dear Friend Nokotan.
Oh God.
Oh,
the Deer Girl anime.
Yes.
This thing is buck wild. I mean, it's like Lucky Star and fucking
does it remind you of Cromartie High at all?
A little, not maybe in just how bananas it is, but
Freddie Mercury was a student in that show, Mike.
If you crossed Lucky Star with what's that? The island? What the Nuchigu?
Oh God, Hale no Shigu,
yeah. It's just Jesus. Wild. Like there's CG 3D deer everywhere, and where everything else is anime style, and
I saw a preview. I saw a preview for that one because Mother's Basement, great YouTuber, does their like trash pile anime preview. Shea Garbage. This anime gets 4 flaming dumpsters full of anime statues, like that sort of thing. But that was one of the ones that Mother's Basement was recommending, which I'm intrigued by it. But since you've started watching it, I'll definitely give it a try.
It's on Amazon Prime if you have Prime. It is. I can't watch more than an episode at a time. It is just so
fucking
out
weird.
there. It is just weird. Like, I don't even know if there's a story going on here, but it's just like, deer showing up and she's like, her antlers come off, but it's just, it's one of those, I can't even describe
just
it.
The frustration in your voice trying to describe the vibe of this. So
the main character, Tarako, she ends up meeting Shikanoko. She's walking down the street. She turns and notices the deer girl hanging by her antlers from power lines. And she tries to ignore her, but the deer girl's like, so you're just going to walk away? It's like... So it ends up helping her down, and that's probably the worst mistake she's ever made in her life, because now she's her friend.
Oh God.
So have you seen Konosuba?
I've seen. No, for sure. I've seen the first season.
Okay. Like I'm right now in the middle of season 2. I've been kind of slow to finish it, but like that show's fucking funny. So definitely.
It is. I need to figure out what I watched, because I'm pretty sure I started season 2, but I don't remember if I ever finished it.
Because I know
I started to watch
3 seasons of that, and then they have a season of the spin-off about Megumin. But,
yeah, I saw that there was that. I didn't realize that was a thing. There's also some movies between the 2 seasons.
Yeah. But I'm having a blast with that one so far. Pun intended.
I started watching the first episode of season 3, and I'm going like, there's characters here I don't remember. I think I'm missing something. So it's either the movie or the latter half of the second season. So I need to watch that.
Okay.
So, and then the other show I'm watching is called let's see here.
It's called
Teasing Master Takagi-san. It's like a more wholesome version of
Nagatoro?
Nagatoro, yeah, that's one I couldn't think of. Yeah, it's basically two cute kids that are like, and she just teases the hell out of him, and that's Takagi, and then Nishikata, he's the boy, and he's not the brightest guy in the world.
Oh.
And he does not pick up what she's laying down. and like he tries to get one up on her and he never does, and he always falls for her ploys, even though she basically tells him sometimes what the answer is, and he's like, she's tricking me, right? So I'm gonna say something else. No, and of course she likes him like a lot, and he just doesn't pick up on any of it. At least in this, I've seen like 4 or 5 episodes of the first season. There's 3 seasons of it out already, so.
Oh, okay.
You know. But it is just a super wholesome, and there's also side characters that get their own like segments.
Yeah.
Like there's these 3 girls that, if you ever watched, their banter and their situations are very reminiscent of Azumanga.
Okay,
Where they're just, you know, it's like if you took Osaka and Tomo and what was the girl with the glasses? Can't remember her name. If you took all 3 of them and gave them their own little segments in this show, that's what they are basically.
Okay.
So very, very wholesome, very fun.
Okay. So, have you been up to anything else aside from anime, or are you just pretty much a walking...
That's really all I've been doing. I should probably take like 30 showers or something. I don't think I've been bathing.
At least play a video game,
Mike,
man.
you smell like an anime fan right now.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, you smell like an anime convention.
Oh, yeah, I definitely haven't video gamed any.
Yeah.
Without cutting to my anime time, man. Like, that's me in a nutshell. I have, like, phases. I don't ever do a mix of things. I do one thing for a while, and then I switch to another thing.
One day for one of our games, we got to figure out where we are on the spectrum. Like, map ourselves.
Oh, God.
Because that's definitely something that's on the spectrum, to some degree. Like, that compartmentalizing of doing a certain thing for a while. Like, that, yeah. We're all special. Anything else you want to throw in there, Mike? Or
No, I'm spent. We've talked about all the anime.
all right, so we're gonna put all of his anime DVDs into the little shelf that we've put up into our distraction hole next to the statues.
It's less a shelf and more of a hutch that we carved into the horrid living rock.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go next, because I wanted to talk about a series that dropped literally a couple days ago, and I finished it, and that is Batman the Caped Crusader.
I've heard stuff about this. Hadn't seen it yet.
I started watching the first episode. I'm going to let you talk about it and tell you what I thought so far.
Okay. Well, as I've mentioned, like, before a few times, I'm sure, like, the DCAU was my thing. Like, I grew up with it. Mm-hmm. You know, watched it as a kid up through high school with Justice League Unlimited, that sort of thing. Inevitably, like, a new Bruce Timm project, like, piques my interest. But this one being produced by J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves of the recent The Batman film. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the upcoming Penguin show. So I was definitely, like, intrigued, and then I'm pleased to report that, like, yeah, I've really enjoyed this. It's basically like we're just taking the 1940s style Golden Age Batman, and we're kind of repurposing a lot of those stories, and then also introducing more modern elements, but giving them that 1940s style. Excellent stuff. I really enjoyed the very kind of strange selection of rogues for this season, because you have a couple, like, heavy hitters that you recognize, but there's some more interesting, like, you know, not necessarily Batman villains that show up. One character who showed up, I don't know how far I can go spoiler wise, but one character who showed up who is traditionally a John Constantine villain, a Hellblazer villain, showed up, and it blew my fucking mind. I'm just like, oh my god, I would love to see, like, a 1940s style Constantine and how they would make that work.
Huh.
Yeah, but, like, a ton of references. Like, I think I caught everything. Every single thing that they dropped, I'm like, okay, recognize that character. just really, really enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun with it. But like Kevin, you have some thoughts, I'm sure, because you've seen the first episode at least.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Batman the Animated Series was a collaborative project, you know. I think Kevin Altieri's contribution has been slighted.
Yeah, we should also probably mention that like Paul Dini had a lot, and he's not attached to this either.
Nope. There are a lot of people that were responsible for that series being amazing that are not involved. And I'm just going to say it. I watched the first episode, and it's like if you took Batman the Animated Series and sucked any sense of fun out of it. It just feels like the Batman movie, but animated.
But I think that's the thing they were going for. They wanted...
I know. It just... You know, if they were going to do that,
I
use
think
a different art style.
I think the first episode shouldn't have been the first episode. Like,
With
looking at the season as a whole, yeah. You know, and they're... Like, a lot of the changes they make are interesting. I don't think the gender swap of the Penguin... Like, I have no issues with a gender swap. Me. It doesn't bother me, but it doesn't add anything either.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem when they do stuff like that. It's like, you need to add something interesting for that to... be worthwhile.
Yeah, come on, at least lay an egg.
But but like it didn't bother me either. I thought Minnie Driver as the Penguin worked really well.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah.
Okay, I love Minnie Driver.
They've got some of the voice cast in here that kind of reminds me of like Andrea Romano, like doing the voice casting for the Batman animated series.
Yeah,
because like pulling the celebrities.
It's celebrities, and then you got like John DiMaggio and Tom Kenny in there to actually do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, but you know, a couple things about like that first episode. Like, I don't think it should have been the first episode, especially because like the ending of the episode doesn't really fit in the context of the rest of the season.
Okay,
it kind of weirded me out a little bit. But like this, yeah, because I don't want to spoil too much. Like, what worked in the episode worked. Like, seeing the graveyard underneath the iceberg lounge. But also, like, the iceberg lounge being a boat at sea.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there that really works. Like, and there's no issue. I have no issue with the way they portrayed Penguin. I just don't think Penguin was the right choice for that first episode.
No, I gotcha.
But
I was just gonna say that, like, I do. Okay, first off, big props for going back to Fat Alfred for the first time in like 40 years.
I've seen a lot of people complain about Fat Alfred.
Fat Alfred is what Alfred was. He was a fat guy until they decided they wanted to be
a badass.
Yeah, a badass.
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Alfred being a former badass who just, you know, is retired and let himself go a little bit.
Alfred's great in this. I love Alfred in this.
I like the voice actor for Batman, believe it or not.
Yeah, Hamish Linklater, I believe.
And the reason I like it is because his portrayal of Batman so far, in the little bit that I've heard, reminds me of season 1 Kevin Conroy Batman voice. Before he'd talk like this, you know, back when it was more hushed.
But he also gets the distinction between Batman and Bruce Wayne. He does a really good job of switching gears with that.
Again, Kevin Conroy did that in the first season. You know, in the first season, he used his regular speaking voice for Bruce. And then, you know, Batman was Batman.
Now, I love the visual design of the show. I think they lean a little too heavily into the animated series for the look of Batman. But everybody else looks great, like as like this kind of interesting blend of the Bruce Timm style with the Batman Brave and the Bold kind of like roundness and 40s look of it all. But like I like they're still doing very 1940s Batman, the short gloves, the larger, broader ears. But it looks too much.
Looks like the original Batman, very first Batman comic.
Yeah, but like the way that they draw the Batman in this, he still looks a little borrowed a little too heavily from like the Batman, Superman adventures era with the very kind of geometric designs.
Yeah, see, that's when Bruce Timm went back and did all the designs himself.
Well, no, that was Glenn Murakami.
Really?
Yeah, Glenn Murakami was the one who kind of like did a lot of the design tweaks. Yeah,
okay.
Because Glenn Murakami is also the one who did the designs for Teen Titans.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, I don't have an
know...
issue with that. My thing is, like, I wish they would have differentiated this Batman look a little more, because at times it feels like I'm just watching Batman the Animated Series, which I know is something that they're going for to a degree. But, like, I love the look of everything else outside of it. Like, I love the way they handle Renee Montoya. I like the design for Barbara Gordon. I love a lot of the... I thought
that was interesting, her being a lawyer.
Yeah, her being a public defender makes a lot of sense for Barbara. Like, the whole thing kind of reminded me of... oh, God, what's the lawyer show?
Harvey Birdman?
No, not Harvey Birdman. It's, God, HBO just recently canceled it after 2 seasons. It's the remake, Perry Mason.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, it has that kind of...
see that.
Number one, it's excellent. But, like, the whole show... And the other thing is, as you watch this season, you're going to see it's less about a Batman, it's more of an ensemble show, where it's kind of giving me that Gotham Central vibe. Because that was one of my favorite runs of, like, Batman comics was Gotham Central, when it was like, here's the Gotham Police Department in the midst of all this costume bullshit. And they drop, like, the fact that they can drop an individual cop's name on that show and I recognize them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But, like, you get references to the 60s show, multiple Robins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I get a fucking John Constantine reference. There is a Hawkman villain who shows up.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I would like for you to watch, like, the full season and then get back to me. I think that Penguin episode is probably the weakest link.
Okay.
Especially because how the narrative of Harvey Dent plays throughout the season, which Diedrich Bader as Harvey Dent is brilliant.
Is it?
Yeah. So he's not only played Batman, but
that's
he's also...
great.
Yeah.
Because I actually liked him as Batman.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, like, I was looking at this show, and I'm like, they could have easily done this as a live-action show, and it would have worked brilliantly. Everything from, like, the opening credits, that kind of very subdued opening credits, the fact that it's very, like, obviously there's not a whole lot of realism to a guy running around a batsuit fighting crime, but, like, it's grounded, you know what I mean? They could have easily done this 1940s style Batman show, and it would have been a hit. The other thing that is throwing me about this, though, is this is a very quality production, so why is it on Amazon Prime and not HBO Max?
Because HBO Max, like everything else they did, canceled it, but allowed the producers to shop it.
Right, and it's so bizarre because this is the kind of momentum DC needs going into their new universe. Yeah, and like...
Well, it's Warner Brothers. They have done nothing but make mistakes. We're just lucky they didn't allow them to produce the entire thing and write it off for taxes.
That is true. Like, I think we're already getting a confirmed second season, so I'm very much looking forward to it. But yeah, as far as someone who, like, is a DCAU diehard, like, I give this a full, like, stamp of approval of, like, no, this is a great, you know, like, again, like with Batman, there's always this Elseworld stuff. If you were thinking, like, okay, we're doing a straight-up 1940s Batman series, this is what I would have envisioned.
Right, and it definitely has the vibe that it basically feels like Bruce Timm went back to the original concept they were going for with Batman the Animated Series and said, okay, what if we just went back to basics and then didn't have standards and practices?
Well, and some of the story elements are actually things that they had planned for the animated series, the original animated series, that they never got to do.
Which, don't spoil it. I'm going to watch it.
No, I'm not going to spoil it. Because there's one character who I want to talk about, but I can't.
Okay.
And it stinks for me. It's very painful right now. But, give it a try. But I give it, like, my full stamp of approval as, like, a Batman fan. Like, the deep cuts, the world building that they're doing. I'm very pleased that we have a great Superman project going on right now.
Yep.
We've got a great Batman project, but they're both unique, distinctly separate things that I feel could be expanded outwards. And I'm curious which one, if any, would be the one to do that.
So you talking about all this and saying that leads me to a thought I had, and I kind of fleshed this out a little bit. I have a My Adventures with Superman theme, kind of flavored Batman pitch.
Okay.
You know, there are a lot of people pitching that right. I seriously just scrolled past someone's pitch for that on Reddit. So
Overarching, my thoughts are, in the original Batman, the animated series, we had a Batman who was more or less well-rounded. Like, he had his issues, but he could laugh. He could, be a semi-normal person. Well, what if you had a show that was kind of like the lead up to that? You start from a character similar to the Batman, where he's just starting out.
That's this show.
And
this show is doing that.
You carry his arc through, but you have it. What the impetus for the change would be Robin, where he has to, learn and grow because now he has someone he has to, that depends on him.
So that's where the current show that I was talking about has that vibe, but also you're kind of pulling from oh God, what is that Justice League book? The one that Darwin Cook did, Brave New World, I think. Where it, like, literally throughout, as you follow Batman's career over the course of a decade, he eventually, his ears grow shorter because he's trying to appear more friendly after he scared a child, and then he brings in Robin and everything like that. But, like, that, I like your impulse there. I love your impulse there.
But it would be My Investigations with Batman.
That's
so
cute.
And so, I don't know which Robin it would be. I don't know if it'd be Tim Drake or
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson,
yeah.
I say Dick Grayson.
Probably just for, classics. But no, and because of his, parents being killed and all that, he's full of rage and full of hate. And Batman Bruce sees that in him. He's like, kid really should be that way.
Oh, fuck.
And kind of eventually, he comes to see that, realize that it's just a mirror of himself.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked.
But
I'm going to say that if you like that kind of, like, psychological introspection, you should definitely watch this Batman show, because there is a very interesting arc that goes on. Because I think this is set in, like, the first month or two of the Batman actually being an active presence in Gotham. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, that feeling
sense.
of, wow, this... I don't
that-
know about this Bat guy.
That didn't work out too well.
Well, that and the way that, like, they portray Bruce and Batman, like, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Well,
And they really play into that.
Look, a nice person doesn't decide to dress up as a bat and, go beat the shit out of people.
Yeah.
But
I know I'm not.
But yeah, one of my thoughts was also to cultivate in, Robin really wanting to kill whoever, killed his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, Batman having to reveal that, you don't want to do that. That's not the way this goes. That nothing good comes from that. Trust me, I know.
They actually did that in the animated series, Robin's Reckoning. It's a really good story.
I was going to say, but it turns out that Batman eventually found and killed his parents' murderers.
Ooh, damn.
Ooh,
And from there, he decided not to kill anybody else because he's like, it just did not help anything.
And he's gutted.
Yeah, no, he's fucked up because of it.
Now, when you mentioned, like, the My Adventures with Superman style Batman, the first thing I thought is they're going to give him, like, a full like face mask, like because they're going for a very tech oriented thing. So I just immediately I started thinking about like how would they do like a teched up Batman in this setting because everything is super science.
Kind of a mash between Batman Beyond and
I was gonna say like you could take a few small cues from like Azrael's bats.
Yeah, that's gonna say something a little more armory instead of like nanotech.
Like how Deathstroke's armor in the show is entirely like it's that cybernetic kind of like Voltron-esque
I don't know.
thing.
You'd still have the mouth. I think Batman, you have to have the mouth exposed.
See, I don't know if they would do that. I think they would make him look more ninja-like, and because that increases the scariness of the character. That makes him seem less accessible, which would give him and Clark a reason to.
Well, maybe at first you can have him like covering his face, but like you mentioned, maybe to soften his image a bit when I don't know, maybe the city's just like full against him because he's a kind of a violent psychopath.
Yeah,
he has to do some PR work.
Yeah. Like, the fact that we have these two very different shows with two of the most iconic superheroes ever, and either of them could easily be contenders for the best versions of those characters, while also being, like, fertile grounds for expanding into a larger universe of shows. Very fucking exciting. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean, that's what I got. But I figure what we can probably do now is maybe take one more break, and then we'll come back to you, Kevin. You're in the hot seat.
Yay! Hey, Kevin here. Hope you're enjoying the episode.
Hey, who are you talking to, Kevin?
Listeners of our shows. I also want to let them know that if they're enjoying what we've been doing, they can support us on Patreon.
Oh, Patreon. Were you going to tell them about the early episodes? Also, Patreon-exclusive episodes that can be found there, too?
Well, yeah, I was going to do the
whole... yeah, and then there's the other cool stuff, including art, merch for subscribers, like tote bags, hoodies, shirts, mugs.
Yeah, and...
Can you believe people could support us for only $5 a month? You're definitely going to mention that, too, right?
I was. Support Supernatural Selection and The Distraction Hole on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Visit patreon.supernaturalselectionpod.com to learn more and get started today.
And we are back, and now, Kevin, you are going to tell us what you distracted yourself with.
Yes, now that I am about to pass out, let's get me active. So, a couple weeks ago, I got Marvel Unlimited. Because I wanted to read comics on my phone. And and I was sitting here going, I have no idea what to read. So I decided, I'm going to read X-Men. Like, all of it. So I started with X-Men #1, and after about 3 issues, I jumped to Giant Size X-Men #1. Because it ran from like 63 to 70, and it did not go over well. It was a once every 2 months book, and they canceled it. And in 73, they decided they want to bring the X-Men back, but with a new cast, with like international appeal. So like I just picture Stan Lee's head in the Zordon tube yelling, Lin Wine, assemble a team of stereotypes with attitude. So you get the Canadian, you get the Native American, you get the Russian, you get the German, you get the African, and you get the Irish guy, and then you put the big dumb white lummox Cyclops in charge of the whole thing. And the bigger dumb white guy, Professor X, over him. So anyway, Giant Size X-Men #1, it's more of the same, but with new characters. And, Wolverine had just made his first appearance in, like, the Hulk. Fighting Hulk and Wendigo. And after that, when the series started, like, in earnest, they bring on this writer named Chris Claremont. And Let me tell you, son, I witnessed the birth of the modern comic book. It is like night and day.
Yeah.
Now, they had the same artist. Good lord, I keep forgetting his name. I want to say it's like Peter Coburn. No, nope, my bad. David Cockrum. I keep fucking that up.
Okay, yeah.
David Cockrum. He was the artist, and he penciled for a good chunk, and then John Byrne took over. And again, it was like a quantum leap. Like, you've seen John Byrne's X-Men art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Byrne took over like halfway through the first arc with the Shi'ar. So, like, I need to explain. There's nothing really wrong with David Cockrum's art. It's just very Jack Kirby 50s, 60s Marvel art inspired. It's got a Steve Ditko kind of feel to it. It's fine. It's just nothing to write home about. And then John Byrne comes in and just blows everything out of the water. And I just plowed through all of that stuff. And he left. And then fucking Dave Cockrum comes back. I was like, oh, fucking God. And then this other artist. Now, in the world of comics, David, you probably know some of this. Mike, you were there when we were into comics. Like, the big names with X-Men were like your Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee, you know, in the 90s. They were the artists. Well, let me tell you something. I discovered Mr. Paul Smith. Paul Smith started drawing X-Men in 1983. And I think it was, I don't remember which issue he started on, but he started in the 80s, and, God, he has such clean lines. It's like this bizarre mix between 80s art and Art Deco character design. And it's gorgeous. He did one of the most famous X-Men pages in the world. It's Kitty Pryde wearing a puffy winter jacket.
I'm looking at it right now, yep.
Uh-huh. Professor Xavier is a jerk. But it's... Holy God, man. It doesn't matter who's drawing it at this point, because I've gotten past his run into, actually, John Romita Jr. Is the current artist, and sometimes his dad is doing the inking. But it's still just... I cannot explain, like, the quantum leap forward that Chris Claremont's writing was. It just... X-Men was just a comic, and then it became the comic to be award-winning. We wouldn't have any of the X-Men stuff we talked about tonight without Chris Claremont.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, and there's a great documentary. Did we talk about me watching the Chris Claremont documentary on the show? I
feel like you might have mentioned it, but I don't quite remember.
Well, there's this great story where, I'm starting to get pissed off at Jim Lee, because he's one of the reasons Claremont left, him and Bob Harris. And they kept sending Chris scripts for the first X-Men movie to go over and give feedback. And it was just shitty superhero scripts over and over and over. And he finally, like, sent them a letter going, you're going about this wrong. This isn't about superheroes. This is about minorities. It is about the downtrodden. It is about found families. And he explains the premise behind the fucking X-Men.
Yeah.
And he gets a letter back later from one of the executives going, well, thank you. We now have nailed the script. So we wouldn't have had that movie if they hadn't gone to Claremont. So,
well, and you're mentioning Chris Claremont as a writer. I you know, I'm trying to think of another like figure who kind of like comes in and redefines how a character is approached.
It's kind of hard to spot someone.
I can name one.
Who's that?
Neil Adams with Batman.
Yes. Okay. Perfect example. Yes. Neil Adams in the 70s on Batman completely turned things around.
Yeah.
It went from Batman, what are you doing? I have to eat this Buick or the world ends. To, Batman.
Yeah. Like, and that got me thinking about that. Yeah, and I'm like, who kind of has a similar thing? Yeah, and it would have been Neil Adams, but yeah, what you're saying about like Chris Claremont, like that's where the X-Men kind of begins.
It is, and the other thing is like, it wasn't just that Chris Claremont wrote it. Chris Claremont wrote it for 17 fucking years. Mm-hmm. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Nobody writes a comic that long these days.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
Unless you're like in an indie thing. But like if you're writing for one of the big two publishers at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It couldn't happen in today's place. It could only happen in the Marvel bullpen of the 70s where people were walking around. It was like a fucking frat house. Mm-hmm. That's the only time that could happen. And, God, I don't know, man. It's just been blowing my mind. That is almost exact. The only thing I've been doing is reading X-Men books. I started in 73. I'm in 1984 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, which arc are you on currently? I don't remember exactly when.
Let me see. I'm at the beginning.
Are we at the Outback? Are we at the Outback era?
No. That's several years off.
Okay.
Xavier can walk. Cyclops is left and has married Madeline Pryor.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Rogue has just joined the X-Men. I'm actually, I just finished reading the issue I have framed on my wall, signed by Chris Claremont.
Okay.
So, which I just lost my shit when I got to that. I was like, I have that one, and he touched it.
It's fun because you were... You're doing that for a while. I was doing that Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Read through where I was going through like every issue of Swamp Thing and writing about it. And I kind of wish I could get back to doing that. Cause, And speaking of which, another author would have been Alan Moore with Swamp Thing. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Original run of Swamp Thing is great for what it is. But when Alan Moore shows up and he makes those tweaks, that's another one of those era-defining... Like, we can do an entire episode about this sort of thing where it's just like, when does the modern era, when does the character really emerge?
Yeah, and definitely 73 with Claremont for X-Men, because it's just a whole other ballgame. And here's the thing, I've been talking about, like, favorite artists. I seriously, right now, my favorite X-Men artist is Paul Smith, even above John Byrne. But, you know who my least favorite artist is?
Jim Lee?
No. The man's a fucking amazing artist. There's no getting around that. So, there's this gap where Wolverine's not in the X-Men. And the team gets an invitation to his wedding in Japan. And they're talking about stuff that happened, and, there's the editor's notes down at the bottom of the page, and it says, see Wolverine issues 1 through 4, and I'm like, fuck, it's a mini-series. I should probably read that. And, yeah, it's written by Claremont. It's Wolverine's first solo gig. It's also narrated by Wolverine for the first time. It's where we get I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do is not pretty.
Yeah.
But the artist is Frank Miller.
Oh, shit.
He looks like Dracula with a black dyed broom taped to his head. Like,
don't get me wrong, like, peak Frank Miller could do some great shit.
No, peak Frank Miller is amazing. This is not peak Frank Miller.
Yeah.
This is, I'll say this, and Mike, you were there when I said this, remember? I can't stand his art, but his layout, his composition is amazing. There are some fantastic panels. I mean, there is just it's cinematic, but it's drawn like ass.
Yeah, like yeah, Frank Miller is one of those that I've always kind of like. There's elements that I respect him for. There are elements where I'm like, he's not delivering, but his art is like. So here's the problem with him being an artist and a writer, is that he double the chance to really fuck up.
Oh yeah, no, you and me both know how that is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Frank Miller's another one. But then again, like his run on Daredevil defines the character.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, he did the whole Elektra thing, and I actually had one of his issues where it was like, well, during that time where Daredevil was losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah, which is like every few years with Daredevil.
Yeah, pretty much. So, here's a question for both of you from this. Now, so far, my favorite storyline has been The Brood. It's a fantastic run. There's a lot of really interesting shit going on there. Mike, do you have a favorite X-Men storyline?
It's been so long since I really never read a whole bunch either. So,
yeah.
The one where they're persecuted.
Oh, fuck off! That's terrible. Well, you and me both were buying like X-Men, the Jim Lee run.
Yeah.
So, and that's what drove Claremont off. But you know, we'll get to that eventually in the books. David, favorite?
My gut is telling me God Loves, Man Kills.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
I've always found the X-Men, like, them fighting supervillains in the Brotherhood, super interesting, but, like, dealing with, like, William Stryker and, and just, like, the humanity, like, going after them has always been, like, some of the most compelling stuff. And, yeah, I have very fond memories of reading that when I first read it.
I look forward to getting to that one, but there's one storyline that I feel is, like, highly overrated.
Which is?
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I could see it. I think it's a great story, but
but it's like 2 issues. It's just 2 issues.
Yeah.
And there's so much better in there. So,
well, but they've also, like, expanded it beyond those 2 issues with, like, other stories and miniseries that are set.
Yeah. And, I mean, you know, and Rachel's in there, and she's been brought back, and...
Yeah,
like 100 fucking times.
I'm just gonna, because I never finished the most recent run with Krakoa.
Oh yeah, the Krakoa stuff.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed the stuff that I was reading with that. I thought it was really interesting. I need to finish it, but yeah, I have I have a certain fondness for that, especially because of the way that the books were designed, where it had kind of like the informatics. Of, like, here's the reality of the world with the mutants in it and everything like that.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I look forward to getting to that one because I've heard a lot of really interesting things about the modern X-Men stuff, and I do like, they've got, like, the new team is led by, like, Rogue, I think. And it's, like, her, Wolverine, Jubilee, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And there's somebody else, but, like, Nightcrawler and Wolverine back on a team together, I'm really excited because in the runs I'm reading, like, those two, their interactions are some of my favorite parts of the story.
Well, and just, like, the idea of the X-Men having, or mutants having their own nation, you know, and just, like, the politics and mechanics of that, especially when you get into the whole... you know, we're going to increase our population. We are going to, you know,
we're all immortal now.
Yeah, we're all immortal. That shit. It's like, you can see why people are afraid of them.
Yep. Mike, I've told you about that, right? The whole them being immortal.
I think so.
And
That
the kind
sounds
of thing.
familiar.
It's like there's a guy that basically spits out big gold eggs, and then
Yeah, gold ball, I think.
yeah, his fucking name is Gold Ball, and his power has always been gold balls.
Shit piece.
Shit piece, yes. But like it turns out they're eggs, and they like they can impregnate them with genetic material and like clone you when you die. And Xavier has like constantly been backing up everyone.
Oh, so it's not immortal. It's a
mind.
copy of you.
Yes, it's like the transporter thing, except worse.
The worst version of fucking immortality and just Xerox copies of you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm also going to throw out Scarlet Witch's No More Mutants, House of M.
Oh, yeah, House of M. I'm looking forward to getting to that, too. That is some fucked up shit. She
Yeah,
depowered all the mutants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a... But of course, like, it was... With the whole modern storytelling thing, that is what led into this current era of the, you know, because they've experienced...
A Holocaust, basically.
Yeah, like, this is like, what, the third one? But,
something like that.
Right? But, no, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. There was a great page from that storyline when everyone got depowered, and it was like the old school Brotherhood of Evil Mutants hanging out, and Blob, like, was like normal, but he had like all the excess skin still. Mm-hmm. And it was just a thin dude covered in extra skin screaming about the nightmare that this was. And Toad is standing there looking just like the prettiest boy band guy going, I made out like a bandit. Fuck you. I was like, this is, there's a lot, even after Claremont, there's some good stuff. So.
I guarantee you, like, the next big, like, X-Men event movie is probably going to be No More Mutants. Like, I feel like they're going to lead into something like that, because there's a lot that can be mined out of that.
Well, there's so many good stories they could do that I really hope they don't do anything with Phoenix for a while.
Yeah.
Because they do it too early. It's like, okay, after 3 movies, this should have been way later. I'm just saying. Also, favorite character in the entire series right now, fucking Cyclops.
Cyclops has always been a great fucking character.
He's the fucking goat.
I'm glad that people are starting to realize it. It only took X-Men 97 showing everybody what I was already seeing.
Yeah, no, I mean, just this dude's life is like absolute shit, and he keeps going.
Like, he is an asshole. No,
well,
like Scott,
he can be an asshole.
As long as he has a sexy psyker around, he's good.
Right? Well,
yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, Scott can be an asshole, but Scott is an asshole too. He's impulsive.
Well, here's the thing. He's not in the stuff I'm reading right now. He's not impulsive at the moment. He's one of the best tacticians.
Didn't you just
and
say
leaders.
he got married to Madeline Pryor?
Yeah.
But wasn't that like a quick thing? I'm trying to remember the sequence of events.
It was a quick thing because they both met each other and just fell madly in love because it's fucking clone of Jean Grey.
Okay. Yeah.
But
okay.
It's basically like I get a chance to pick up where I left off almost, but
which is a weird thing. Which
it is
like
weird.
Scott, honey, don't.
In the story, it is a weird thing, and he has a lot of problems with it being a weird thing.
Yeah.
So it's okay. The way they handle
I love
it is actually
that
very.
I love that Scott Summers is a train wreck, but he is a train wreck who can lead.
He's a train wreck who can lead, and also just like I love the fact that after his parents get fucking abducted by aliens, and him and his brother end up in the orphanage, Alex, the young pretty blonde boy, gets adopted like almost immediately, and Scott is still in the orphanage until Xavier gets him.
I just want a fucking X-Men movie that deals with the fact that Scott Summers is part alien. Or not part alien, but his dad's out in space.
Oh, yeah, no. When I was talking to Gage, I was like, the thing I'm most excited for about X-Men is in the MCU is the idea that we might actually get his father being a fucking space pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, no, that's gonna be amazing. I want that.
Oh, man. Well,
but that's what I've been up to, is just straight up X-Men for like 2 weeks.
No, that sounds like bliss, man. I love it. I love it.
Fucking great. And here's the thing: the next 2 things I'm doing when I get done with this, before I start on like X-Men, not Uncanny, but X-Men, is I'm gonna finally going through and read New Mutants and X Factor.
Hell yeah.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, man, X Factor, I loved the version of the team after the Muir Island saga that was headed by Havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Havoc, Polaris, Quicksilver, Multiple Man, Guido, Strong Guy, and Rain.
Yeah.
Wolfsbane. This is a good team. This is a great book. This is a lot of fun. I have an issue of that autographed by Jay Lee, actually.
Oh, shit. There you go.
Yeah. And no, it was great when I brought it up to him. He was like, he went to sign it. He was like, wait a minute. This has got a barcode on it. Where did you get this? I said, I bought it from a drugstore when it came out. And he was like, Jesus Christ, I hate the direct market. And we just started talking about newsstands.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Again, I've told you the story about meeting Chris Claremont, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where he gushed at him about how he's the reason I started writing comics, and he just went, shit, and signed my book.
Well, how about we take some questions? I think that we have some questions that have been banked up.
We have got a backlog of some questions. There's one in particular that Lenora said we missed, if I can find it.
That's the hard part, is like scrolling through the Discord to find them.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Question for the distraction hole. Given the fact that all the male heroes in Dracula are expressly written by the mores and tropes of the time of writing to be unmasculine and foppish, have you considered that the original novelization of Dracula is actually just period NTR erotica with a supernatural theming?
I had not considered it, but that is, you could easily make that a valid interpretation.
Yeah, I think we just decided it's boy love, right? Is that what we were talking about?
No.
Okay.
So, NTR is more of a cuck.
Oh, okay. So mantises. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like you can justify that reading for sure. That is probably a very popular interpretation of it.
Yeah. No, I could see that. Man, I really want to see a copy of Dracula with like some real Femi boy covers, like, Vampire Hunter D looking.
Yeah, I'm watching. I just started a adaptation of Dracula I missed in 2013. I think it's a BBC production. And then I'm very excited for Nosferatu this December.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. It's got Willem Dafoe in it, since he was in Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah.
As Nosferatu. God, that's a good movie. So yeah. Anyway, as for actual questions, this is from Allie Bear. Relatively simple question. What is your favorite music genre and artist in that genre? That's a tough one.
That is super tough, because I can't say I have like a favorite genre. You know what I mean? My playlist is too eclectic for that. I can name a bunch of stuff, but I don't think that's the point of the question.
Yeah, and Mike, your tastes are highly eclectic.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to define a genre I'm most like, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be like metal, because I like metal, but not a lot of metal. Probably new wave, I guess, would be like the closest genre I like a lot of.
Now, what artist would you pick as your favorite in that genre, though?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I usually just like one or two songs from each artist is the problem.
Like, if you were to ask me, like, an artist who their entire catalog I'm into, I could probably name a handful, but that's not really the question either. So I'm just going to pick one genre. We'll say punk.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with the Cramps.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to go with, like, post-punk new wave and go with XTC.
Yeah.
Because the other option is They Might Be Giants, and there is now more They Might Be Giants that I haven't heard and or don't like than Giants that I have heard.
Like, I guess my other answer might be, like, electronic, and that's being very, very broad here, and it would be Daft Punk, because I have every single Daft Punk album and release, so, like, it's one of those, like, every single thing they've done.
Yeah, if I had a second one, I'd go alternative and REM.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's one of those bands where I didn't know I was a fan until I realized I had every album.
Well, and then you realized Everybody Hurts.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm glad we did that.
So like, that's the best we can answer that question, because that's a very hard question, especially given, like, at least for me and Mike, I think that we both have these very kind of diverse and eclectic libraries.
Yeah. This is a question specifically for me from Lenora. Did Kevin enjoy those books I got him for his birthday, or has there just not been the time yet? I started the first book. I have not finished the first book. It is interesting. It's this sci-fi with magic, and the plot is this guy sees how he dies in every other reality and realizes that all these options are viable in his world, and he's trying to stop it. So, interesting idea.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and he becomes, like, the most powerful mage in the universe because of it. So, interesting stuff.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
And after that, I put out a call for more questions, and we have another one from Allie Bear. Says, I find cooking to be an excellent distraction from day-to-day life. My question is simple. What's your favorite meal to cook whenever you're feeling down?
I don't get to, like, cook enough just to, like, make myself feel something aside from, like, the satiation of, like, eating food. Like, I don't get to, like, indulge in, like, cooking for the fun and enjoyment of it. I think the last time I did that was Thanksgiving a couple years ago when I made a ratatouille. And I did it, like, in the movie style where it's basically like a casserole.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you had a rat on your head pulling your hair.
Exactly. Well, what hair? But
good
it would have
point.
been my beard hair. It would have been my beard hair.
Hanging from your neck, pulling your beard.
Yes. But no, like, I did it as I finally, like, chopped the vegetables, layered them, and, like, did it as a casserole thing. So the last thing I really remember cooking, and that was the Thanksgiving before my grandma died. Yeah, and she was, like, super thrilled by it and everything like that. But, like, like, most of the time if I'm cooking, it's, like, just chicken and rice because I'm just trying to feed myself. You know what I mean?
Fuel.
Yeah. The other thing is fried egg on rice, like, just simple. Yeah.
So, something I cooked this week that I always forget how easy it is. Like, a lot of times I'm, like, dreading cooking. It's like, oh God, I got to cook something because it's going to be this whole ordeal. But, like, just a tuna steak. Like, you just take, get you a tuna steak, thaw it out if it's frozen. Just
fry
garlic,
that motherfucker.
Garlic powder, onion powder, and pepper on it on one side. Put that side down in the pan. Do the same thing on the other side. And just, cook it till it's, your preferred level of doneness because it's tuna. And then right when it's done, throw some butter and soy sauce in the pan. Flip it a couple times in that. Done. That's it. and then just, with some white rice if you want to be, basic, or, after you make what I do is after I make the white rice for the first meal, I make a lot of it. So subsequent meals I could do fried rice.
Oh yeah.
I guess for me, and I haven't done it in like 20 years, I would really like to go back and make one of my meatloaves.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
meatloaf's
fun.
Making meatloaf, man.
You ought to do that this week, man.
Well, I gotta get paid. It'll be after Dragon Con.
Oh no, I feel you. I feel you.
We go to Costco, get the cheap meat.
Yeah.
So what do you do with your meatloaf? Like, do you do anything specific that makes it your meatloaf?
I mean, it's a combination of like tomato paste stuff and ketchup, and a lot of people will use like rice.
No, just breadcrumbs.
I use crackers actually.
No, but that's the same difference.
Yeah, I use saltine
They're dry.
crackers. I just beat the shit out of it, and hand mix it in.
My grandma used to do rice, and it was always like weird crunchy. I don't know if she like used just dry rice and expected it to soak it up. It's not very good.
I've never made a meatloaf. I should try making one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Mike and me tried one time. We did a barbecue meatloaf.
I was gonna say that's what I do to make it mine. Is I, instead of ketchup on top, I do barbecue sauce.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Maybe
it's good.
Like I would probably try. This is just me spitballing things here. I would probably try to do like a barbecue sauce, but more of like a Polynesian barbecue sauce. With some sriracha mixed in.
I forgot one other ingredient I put in there. Pack of onion soup mix.
I thought you were gonna say love.
Yeah, well, that too. But
I just get the meatloaf seasoning packs.
Yeah, there's
Same
that,
difference.
but I also put like the onion soup mix in, so it's.
I think both of those would be too seasony. Be also way too much salt.
I don't know. I may be remembering wrong. It's been 20 fucking years, and my brain is rotted.
One thing I did make this week for the first time, because I kind of looked up, I made my own, because I ran out, I made my own yum yum sauce.
Oh, okay.
Which I, kind of just threw a bunch of stuff together, but mostly mayonnaise, but some ketchup, some different stuff.
Honey mustard.
Little honey mustard for, some sweetness. Some soy sauce.
I keep telling myself that I eventually need to make my own, like, wing sauce. Because it's one of those things where I'm just like, man, I need to get a bag of wings, I need to make some sauce, and I need to, like, make my own wing sauce. Something I've been thinking about.
So, well, that's fun. Now we're all fucking hungry.
I kind of am. I
Yeah.
haven't eaten since like 5, so.
Yeah, and I can't eat because of my blood sugar tonight.
And I had Chinese food tonight, so I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
Fuck. So we got another question from Soup Gox, who joined a little while back, and he lurks. But Soup Gox, and this is sort of, it's a question for Distraction Hole, but it's actually more relevant to Supernap, but we'll go ahead and answer. Who would win in an MMA fight, Bigfoot or the Yeti? My money is on Mr. Foot, he says.
Aren't they the same person?
I mean, they're technically, but...
Yeah, the Bigfoot is... if we're talking Bigfoot, we're talking specifically Pacific Northwest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, hippie
would,
Oregon Bigfoot.
Yeah, I would probably give it to the Yeti.
Yeah, same here. It's more violent in nature. There are more reports of Yeti attacks than Bigfoot attacks.
Yeah, Bigfoot's the type of dude to leave an orange in front of your house.
Yeah.
Which there's stories about Bigfoot leaving oranges in front of people's houses.
And, like, trading for things. Yeah.
Meanwhile, a Yeti will just, like, rip a Sherpa apart.
Yeah, just rip him the fuck apart, use his bones as a toothpick. And then, to go downhill, has to throw its giant, ponderous breasts over its shoulders. God, the shit I know. Let's see. And one last question from Lenora. Distraction Hole question. If you had your druthers and could run and afford the game and or had the time to spend on it, what video game would you most want to try that, for whatever reason, is out of your abilities to play?
I got one right off the hop because I...
Okay, good, because I don't know that I really
peeped
have
this
one.
question earlier. the original Xbox game Steel Battalion that had the controller, the custom dual joystick controller that had the eject button on it. So yeah, those controllers are insanely expensive, obviously.
They were insanely expensive before, and they have not gotten cheaper.
Yes, and plus you need, an Xbox and the copy of the game. So, yeah.
Yeah.
For one game, that's a lot of money.
For me, honestly, my own setup of BattleTech pods.
Huh.
That would just be badass. Like they used to bring to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Huh. My answer's gonna be kind of weird, but I can't justify the subscription, but World of Warcraft, I played a lot of World of Warcraft, and then I stopped, and I kind of miss it every once in a while. I get that itch of man, I had a lot of fun with that, but I feel like I'm too far behind now.
Yeah.
I don't think I could justify spending the money on it. The other one I would also say is maybe DC Universe Online.
That's free, though.
Well, yeah. There's a very big difference between free and free. Yeah.
There always is. I mean, that's there's Elder Scrolls Online. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say besides the BattleTech thing, probably ESO.
Yeah, because you could play the free one, but it's not the same as having the subscription features and everything like that.
Yeah, yes, you can play free, but if you subscribe, your character gets hands.
Yeah, exactly. But I have a lot of fond memories of DC Universe Online. But yeah, I think just being able to play a larger MMO again would be really nice. I can't justify it with time or money.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed the vibes of it. I have a lot of fond memories of running Molten Core at 2 a.m. Or farming for certain drops when I could solo a boss, that sort of thing.
Me and Mike would and our friends would go and fish for deviant
fish.
Deviant fish.
Because one of our friends had the cooking ability to do the savory deviant delight.
Which basically had drug-like effects on your character.
Oh, yeah.
And Melganus was a server we were on. It was almost entirely goons from SA, and it had a unnaturally inflated economy. That's the best way to put it. So, he would go, we'd catch a fish, he'd cook the fish and sell the fish, give us money, and then we'd go buy things. So we had a racket.
I was one of the trade chat shit posters, so it's hey, did somebody say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker? Where you just drop the link to the item in there, and then the trade chat would go on a half hour, people just dropping item names, or when you would take item and ability names and make sentences. So there was an achievement, I've been waiting a really long time, and then there was another one, it was something along the lines of make the message, I was waiting a really long time for this impactful butt pounding or whatever, just shit like that.
Dude, Mike, do you ever miss Baron's chat?
I was just gonna say, the only thing I really miss from WoW is Baron's chat.
Where is Mankirk's wife?
Just goddamn.
The shit that happened, and here's the thing: Baron's chat is bad on every server, but Melganus was a special hell.
I don't know. I had several characters across different servers, and Baron's chat was always fun.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my memories because it was so many goons. I don't know.
The highlight of the game for me will always be before Wrath of the Lich King came out, and they had that event where people would be turned undead, and it wasn't programmed correctly, so it literally became a viral epidemic.
I remember they study it now for pandemics.
I lived that shit. I was one of the assholes going around infecting people in the cities.
I wasn't there for that, unfortunately.
Oh, it was such a wild moment that I'll never be able to live again, but I have such fond memories. Because, it was oh my god, I get to be the zombie, I get to be the disease vector and try to spread it into the fucking city. Like, we had Goldshire. We had wiped out Goldshire completely.
God
and
damn.
we held that. And it was just a bunch of us trying to get into Stormwind to spread this infection around.
I've probably asked this before. What faction were you?
I was Alliance. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the Horde. But, like, the thing is, I also kind of played with my parents, because my mom and stepfather were really into Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So I would play with them. I'd have my own servers that I'd be on, but I was also in a guild with them. But I ended up being kind of like the tank for them.
Yeah.
Because that was my main character as a paladin.
Now, let me tell you a funny story about the first day I got on World of Warcraft. This is back in the, original fucking run. We're all like, we're doing Horde because we're on Melganus, which is the goon Horde server.
Mm-hmm.
And I get on there, I'm making an orc warrior, and I'm like, all right, gotta name him Grot, because Grot is a fantastic orc name, and it was early enough you could get away with regular orc-sounding names. And it says, that name is already taken. I'm like, motherfucker. All right, Gorthank it is. My other option. And I get in, and Mike tells me, yeah, no, I'm coming to meet you at spawn. And Mike runs up, and his fucking name tag is Grot.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck you. Son of a bitch, you took my name.
God,
What's your name?
So many fucking memories, man. Like, just...
Yeah.
And there's, like, sounds that, like, live in my head permanently from that game.
Mike,
like, when you
Mike.
when you click the orc, I mean, not that kind of orc.
Mike, do the Quillbore.
Oh God, I'm trying to remember. It's been ages.
He used to do a dead-on impression of the Quillbores when they died.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't remember now.
Yeah, it was like, "Ugh, I can't do it. Fuck. I don't remember what they
Well,
said.
that's all right.
It just sounded like I had a stroke.
Max, one of our friends at the time, Max, he would do a dead-on Murloc.
Oh, God, yeah, no. Yeah, he sounded exactly like whoever the fuck did that. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
I got on here about 2 years ago, and I was like, I don't even know what this is now. I have no clue what the fuck's happening.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, like, eventually they bring it to the Xbox, because, like in a Game Pass situation, I don't think that's going to happen, because...
Yeah, money.
But like, that would be great, because then it'd be like, oh, I can finally play it again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, that's our questions for the night. Thank you for that last one particularly, because, man, that was some memories.
So I did have an addition I wanted to make to that.
Yeah?
Is if like money's no object, I'd make a full motion simulator, like rig for like cars, like cockpit.
I would make a holographic walking rig. I'm
talking about something that's actually feasible.
Well, no, not holographic, but like I'd have like the treadmill system with VR, but it'd just be for walking sims.
Well, that's not something you can actually buy right now. I'm talking about something you can actually, like, if I had like thousands of dollars, I could buy the parts to build.
Sure.
Like, I could use VR for that too, but it'd be like the thing with the motion base that moves in reaction to the games, because I've seen some of those, and those are badass.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I know that we're getting to the end here. I have a very quick game for us, because it is getting pretty late for all of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to skip the game, or do you want to do the short game?
You want to do a short game, Mike?
Yeah, we can do a short game.
Let's do a short game.
Okay. Well, this is actually based on the last game we played, which was Mike having us go over Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
Oh, God.
No boy.
And it's been nearly 20 years since that came out.
Yeah.
So that's 20 years worth of pop culture that could be addressed in a sequel. So what I want us to do is, like, really think about, like, the types of characters who showed up in the first one. Within the past 20 years, who would you add?
SpongeBob.
And it could be one or two. It could be one or two. All right. So, okay, SpongeBob. See, the thing about, like, the original was that they weren't always obviously the biggest characters.
Okay, all right, okay. I take
know
that
what I mean?
back. I'll think
No,
of another
I mean,
one.
it's
you
fine.
don't have to take it back. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of like also need to. But you know what I mean about it? Like, it's a very eclectic mix.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just whatever
oh,
fit the.
oh, shit. Homestar Runner.
I don't know. Homestar Runner was around before Ultimate Showdown.
Oh, I know,
yeah.
but he was
Yeah.
left out of it.
Yeah, so we're trying to rectify.
I'm rectifying it with
Rectumfy.
that. Rectum.
So a lot of it's based on rhyme, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm also trying to think of like or individuals who have rhyming potential. I think one person who would inevitably be put in is Taylor Swift.
I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah,
If
the
you
other
have
one I'm
to.
thinking of is Walter White. Because you could do Jesse Pinkman or Gus Fring, but I think Walter White would be the most obvious choice. Because it's also like the meme potential, I think.
Yeah.
You also take that into account. But, yeah.
Oh, well, Mike, you got one?
'Cause
'Cause I got another one.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Kanye.
Yeah.
And he would be fighting Taylor.
I
yelling,
think
"I'm gonna
Kanye
let you
would
finish."
show up at least 2 times. One is Kanye and one is Ye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ye. Yo.
Yeah.
You.
Ye. Ye. Wow. Yeah. Okay, I could definitely see that. I don't know. Cartoon character wise, why do I think that like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls would be a popular choice?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Were there any video game characters in the original?
I don't remember.
Because video games are now like
Not
a more
really.
are a larger part of pop culture. Like,
Well, Master Chief would be in there.
yeah, Master Chief, yeah, definitely.
Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah, I can see that. Deadpool.
Yes, obviously.
Now we're just creating Deadpool and Wolverine in the next movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. What you got, Mike? Who do you think?
I really, I mean, there's just, I don't know, you could just pretty much name any character.
Oh, you stroke it out.
I don't know.
He's a motorboat.
Yeah.
I definitely feel a Master Chief.
Yep.
Trying to think of any other like video game characters. Luigi.
Oh, definitely. Maybe
No,
not Mario.
Waluigi. Waluigi.
But, oh, wah.
Wah.
Bowsette.
Oh God.
No, it's something interesting to think about. But yeah, like mostly I wanted to comment that it's like mostly it's almost 20 years old now,
Yep.
Yeah.
which is
And,
fucked.
If you have suggestions for the new Ultimate Showdown, you can hit us up at team@supernaturalselectionpod.com and let us know who you would include.
And we will judge your choices.
We will judge the shit out of you.
Otherwise, yeah, I think that's it. I think we're all kind of tired here at the bottom of the hole. We don't want to fall asleep in here, so we'll start climbing out. But as
I
we
brought a
climb
rope
out,
ladder.
oh, thank you. As we're climbing out, Kevin, you got anything you want to plug?
We will be back to doing Supernatural Selection this week, hopefully. The Satanic Panic D&D episode has proved to be a bugbear to try to write.
Yeah, a little bit of a summer slump going on here, but
Yeah.
but that's okay because we're coming back to it. I'm going to be adding some stuff to the script for you.
Yep.
And it's going to be fun. Mike, do you got anything you want to plug?
Not really, but just thinking about Ultimate Showdown reminded me there was a parody of that. I'm not going to get into it, but it was
Yes.
very vile. I just remembered that.
I'm not aware of this one.
Yes, you are. It was the gay one.
Oh, God. I
Yeah.
know. I'm not familiar with that one.
Wow, he's much more of an innocent flower than we are. But no, I got nothing to plug. I'm just gonna stay here in the hole and like.
Oh, you're gonna stay in the hole?
Stay in the K hole.
Alrighty, wow. And I got nothing to plug. Like I just literally finished one semester of teaching. Have like a 2-week break, so next week I'm into the teaching again. I'm teaching in a classroom again, which I'm excited about.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
He's teaching actual like subjects and not just like fake things he's made up.
Here's how to eat a pretzel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, though, yeah, nothing really to plug. But I will leave you with this final thought. The only plugging you should do is well-wishing to other people.
Oh.
And with that, we're at the edge of the hole. We're really edging here. We're climbing out. This has been a real rim job.
You said that's the only plugging, but what about pegging?
That's a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because pegging is about taking it in and out.
Okay.
Yeah,
good to know.
plugging is about keeping it there. So, anyway, yes. We just completely derailed this. Anyway,
Yep.
We love you all. We will catch you next week with Supernatural Selection.
Go read X-Men, bitches.